and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on, every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance.
Pushing limits.
Seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
When it comes to the game we love, having the right gear makes all the difference.
Gold Line's new curling shoes and brooms are a game changer.
The shoes, unbelievably comfortable.
And the brooms, lightweight and effective, giving you control on every sweep.
When I step onto the ice, I'm not just prepared, I look sharp.
Have you seen these shoes? They are a game changer.
And the brooms? Light as a feather.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
And is the choice of champions.
Final stone. Does he have it? Yes, he does! What a shot! John Schuster! Oh my goodness! A third of a rock for... That would make sense why he did curl.
Well, we got to not kill that. It's got to just be in the catch zone.
I mean, my gut is like hack to board and just roll 3 feet. 2 feet.
Yeah? Yeah, I think it's probably just hack.
You're always touching the 6.
I don't know that this leaves the 4-foot with hack.
Really good spots for Miller.
I think John's in a situation where he needs to send one of the red guards back.
Yeah, and it's dead nose and just, it's going to go spinning. This actually might catch two and just leak back.
I think it does.
Okay, so it might, close to dead.
Hammer something.
Extra focus of the players, because sometimes you just couldn't hear yourself thinking, and we needed to like use signs and show what we meant instead of just shouting out a number or like play this hit and roll kind of thing. We had to show everything, so that added another level, I guess, to our game. After that, we've been a little better when the crowd is loud or when you can't hear as well.
Johnson on this one here.
Can't hear yet for Line ever.
No, they like Line. Now doesn't have the speed. They like the Line. Does it have the speed? They're going hard for Line. You have to get by this top yellow. Trevor Johnson leaning on it. He's by it. Now does it stop in time? Has to stop in time. What a shot from Ryland Kleider. We thought it was maybe the hardest option up from the booth, but that's why we're not down there.
I've stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on, every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance.
Pushing limits.
Seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Good morning, curling fans around the world. Brent Lang and Chelsea Carey here with you this morning, bringing you the WFG Masters from Guelph, Ontario. And we've got the ladies kicking this event off with 4 sheets in action this morning. We're going to be covering the Team Tirinzoni versus Team Inglis game. We'll bring you all of that action, but as always, Home Team Live bringing you every single draw of the entire event. So all 4 events, all 4 games this morning will be covered on Home Team Live. Check them out. The only one with our wonderful commentary, I think, Chelsea.
I think so too.
Will be the Inglis and Tirinzoni game. Of course, Team Tirinzoni, if you've followed curling for the last number of years, you know they've won 1 million World Championships, perennial Team Switzerland at the World Championships, always in the mix at the Grand Slams. Haven't had their best slam year this year, I think, self-admittedly, if you ask them. And then not an unknown team if you're from Ontario. Team Inglis, the sponsor exemption as the home province team, always a factor in the Ontario provincials, and tough team to beat, as is shown by Team Holman did not pick them, even though they're ranked 33rd. This week, Chelsea, is a different format where the top 4 teams got to draft the pools. So what do we think of Holman not taking Inglis? I mean, the stats tell you that they're, you hate to say the worst team here, the lowest ranked team here on paper, but Team Holman went with number 8, Ha, instead.
Yeah, I was a little surprised by that for sure, but if you're Team Holman and you've pretty much beat everybody all year, I suppose it doesn't really matter as much, maybe.
Definitely a good comment. Yeah, I think they're 40-2 or something.
Something like that.
Something stupid.
Yeah.
Won 5 of 6 events. And as somebody who played a lot in Ontario, I know that Holman and Inglis have a bit of a history, obviously a rivalry at the women's tankard, the provincial Scotties, and maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. Everything I'm telling you right now is all made up because I haven't asked Rachel, but I will when I do see her. But
yeah, I wondered about the all-Ontario thing too, if that was maybe part of the reason, yeah.
You know what it's like to have that rivalry.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, the old provincial rivalry, which is one of the things as the game evolves that's going to change. You're not going to have that anymore with the top teams, which is one of the downsides. But hey, things evolve and things change. So the other games out there today, we've got Team Gim versus Team Kitazawa. Team Hasselberg taking on the Italians, Team Constantini, and Team Xenia Schwaller taking on Team Kim from Korea. So not a lot of Canadians out there, Chelsea. What's going on in the world?
Yeah, it's not great. We've been seeing it for years, and it just seems to be more and more the case that the world's their teams are just really good, the international teams, and it's all based on points and rankings and things. So you can't really argue that they don't deserve to be here. But certainly, as Canadians, selfishly, we would like to see a few more around if we could.
Thankfully, the curling group is Canadian-owned at the moment, and they said, "Well, we got to have one Canadian team on this draw. Let's invite Team Inglis."
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Teams have done the draw to the button. The first 2 games of this event, they'll draw. Each team throws 2 draws to the button, and it's a combined total to decide hammer in the first end. And then the second 2 games of the event, it's just 1 draw to the button, just to make us look silly, I think.
Just to confuse
Try and
us.
confuse
Yeah,
us a
definitely.
little bit. I heard the scoring bench in front of us saying, how many draws count? Do these ones add together? And I didn't want to break their hearts and say, you're right, but then you're wrong.
Yes, you're right.
Come Thursday.
Yes, today and tomorrow, that is correct. After that, totally different.
And Team Inglis did win the draw to the button. Team Tirinzoni went with almost a full turkey, covering almost, it wasn't touching any of the forefoot, all covering the button, and then the other one was not in the rings. So Team Inglis with the hammer. Not their first Grand Slam experience, I don't think, but they'll be excited, nervous. They've got some fans in the stands, and a big opportunity for them to show their stuff. They don't travel as much as the top teams, but certainly a capable team. So,
and starting with the hammer, I think for them is huge. Coming in, you're playing one of the best teams in the world, bar none, and so to win that turnaround and win that draw to the button and at least get the hammer in the first end, you can kind of ease yourself into this a little bit, maybe settle the nerves, all that kind of stuff. So I think that's a big win for Team Inglis to start this game.
Selena is still throwing lead. This team started, Carol was throwing lead at the onset of this. It's not a new team anymore with the new front end, but they've made the switch and sticking with it. Letting Danielle probably get comfortable here. A little confused, but I didn't see, did they call that in the house, Chelsea?
I didn't see the call. I didn't see her tap, but I'm surprised by that too. You'd think that for Team Tirinzoni, with all their experience and coming in against a team that maybe does have those nerves a little bit, that they would have thrown a guard right at the start just to put a little pressure on early, but not the case.
Both you,
think this is probably what Inglis was hoping for. Hit and roll, stay in the side of the rings would be nice. And Cassandra de Groot doesn't quite hold the shooter, so we'll see if Silvana calls it in the rings again.
Yeah,
she is, okay.
Too. Interesting. Yeah. There's a game plan.
I think that players get together and they say, you know what? Let's mess with the commentators and let's just do nothing in the first end.
Yeah, it's a conspiracy, obviously.
Where's Team Jones when you need him? Jenna get in trouble in the first end for us, for sure.
Oh, always, yeah.
We lots of talk this week about, well, a few things. The draft, which is pretty cool. And then when they do qualify, wherever they qualify, the top 3 teams will get to pick from the bottom 4 that do qualify who they play in the quarterfinals, which that'll be cool. I think that's going to be streamed live. There may be some trash talk, I hope. If not, we're going to trash talk them for them, right, Chelsea?
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, and so that's pretty cool. And the new trial rule this week, speaking of which, maybe that's why she's throwing it in the rings. You can't blank 2 ends in a row. Been a lot of chatter on social media about it, which is part of the idea. And the other idea is to see how we can make the event and the sport a little bit more exciting to watch on TV and in venue potentially, but interested to see how the no double blanks. If you blank 2 ends in a row, you actually lose the hammer.
Okay.
But Cassandra knows what it feels like to roll out low and high now. I think they got that spot figured out, but it doesn't really matter if you stay, if they know they're just going to throw it back in the rings.
Yeah, you're giving them free draws. That's the only kind of downside, but...
it's comfortable to get draw weight in the first end, right?
Yeah. You don't want to give your opponent more of those than you need to, but yeah, it won't really affect the course that this end is clearly taking, which is headed straight for Blanksville.
And then the other thing that we don't want to talk about, but that we will talk about, is the broom situation, specifically the foam situation. I think, well, I learned a lot yesterday. I heard. Hearing something is different than learning it. I don't know where the actual facts are, although there are scientific facts coming in today. I know there's going to be more information come to light today. I think a lot of players are getting their information as fast as they can from each other. What do you see? What do you hear? And I think we need to slow that down and maybe find here's what's actually happening.
Clean. Well, that's good. That's fine.
But one thing that I know is not true that you're seeing on social media, our brooms are never tested. Like, nobody tests us before the event. Somebody on social media was saying, oh, they're tested before every event. No, they're not. Nobody checks really anything.
They used to check the fabric, like when that first came in, but no one's ever inspected the foam.
We used to have to mark our brooms, and
I still have old ones with a little piece of tape around them in different colors and stuff.
One of the first slams when the craziness was happening, Pierre decided you could only use one head, like you couldn't change heads. And after every game, he took your brooms and he locked them up.
Oh my
and that's a true story. I think that was maybe before the women were in the slams. No, you would have been in the slams.
Yeah, I don't
remember that one.
No, I don't remember him doing that.
Took our brooms after every draw. Maybe that was at the Elite 10.
Okay.
Oh, maybe.
Yep.
So still not tons to talk about here, Chelsea. Just an open end. Both teams getting to feel out the sheet.
10-5, nice throw.
Yeah, and I would say, as we were discussing before, I think that's advantage to Team Inglis more so than it is to Team Tirinzoni.
I would think so, but Team Tirinzoni kind of decided they were going to allow that to happen.
Yeah, they came in knowing that that's what they were going to do, obviously, but a little surprised by that. But
also, nothing happening in any of the other games. Literally 0 rocks in play on D, 0 in B, and then a peel coming down on a center guard on A.
Yeah, everyone's coming at it from a conservative angle, which you have to wonder if that's this new rule, because that's just that. It's been a really long time since I saw every game in the first end at a slam without any rocks in play.
And the ice looked great. The ice was as good as we've ever seen it in practice last night. You were timing it's like 15 seconds to the tee line on the draw of the button, so it's not.
So that wouldn't be why. Like sometimes when sometimes when you're a little uncertain, if it's a little patchy or something like that, then I could see starting out a little bit more conservatively, but not the case here today, and yet we're still seeing it. So they've all gotten together and decided that this is how they're going to start, I guess.
What is the new rule change, Chelsea, if anything? If you're out there skipping, you can't blank back to back. So does it change anything?
I don't know that it changes a ton. Like, I don't know that I guess there are a few teams that would like to blank the first end. Rachel Holman, for example, would actively seek that out.
Yep.
So then she can't blank 2, so maybe you change your strategy in 2 a little bit. But I don't know that it changes much, except for I think that it becomes the team without the hammer that is playing more conservatively, because you can't blank the second one in the row. So if you can force them into a blank that way. So I'm not sure that it's gonna change how many rocks are in play. I just think it's gonna change which team is forcing that to be the case, where the team with the hammer throws, a couple run backs, couple doubles, and then they're playing for a blank, where now if they blank the first end, then you're not going to see them do that in the second end because they have to try to get 2 because they're taking 1 regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So then it becomes the team without the hammer that says, well, I can get a force just by hitting every rock if I get the opportunity to, right? Because they're never going to blank it. So
sure.
I'm curious to see how it goes, but I think it might just switch who the aggressor is in some cases.
Yeah, and I think the team with the hammer almost always is in charge of what's going to happen in the end, unless team without hammer. The only way to really dictate play is to throw 2 center guards, and that's
true.
That's pretty ballsy. The other thing is I've never started an end and said, okay, guys or gals or whoever we're playing with here, let's force them to a blank.
Yeah.
Like, how do you even do that? You can't. It's not really an option.
No.
So I don't think it's going to change much.
Yeah, I'm not sure it is either, but I'm curious because it's like I like where it's coming from. We do want to, blank ends are no fun to watch. We're sitting here this morning and there's nothing really much to say.
I haven't watched a shot in the last 5 minutes, to be honest. Did anybody flash anything yet?
I haven't seen a flash yet, no.
No, okay, so.
And that's kind of the only way it gets interesting. So I understand trying to do something to take that away. So they're trying stuff, which is awesome. I'm not so sure it's going to work, but I hope it does.
Something else for us to talk about during blank ends.
Yeah, at least there's some controversy and some new format things. And
if it doesn't work, I would suggest that you're going to see the next one say no blank ends.
Yes, yeah, which I wondered about that too. Just get rid of them altogether, like mixed doubles.
Right. Which I was talking to Team McEwen a little bit last night, and without divulging all of their super top secrets, it did sound like a mixed doubles conversation.
Yeah.
A little bit, like when you get down to 6, 7, 8, and if they've blanked 6 or whatever, what happens in 7, and maybe it's okay to give up a steal in certain situations, and it was like, yeah, that sounds a lot like mixed doubles.
Yeah, exactly. I do think that. That's one of the things I love about mixed doubles is the no blanks. That you're never going to have a hit them up and down kind of. You can't anyway because you can't hit any of the rocks, which is the other factor. But yeah, I wouldn't. I agree that I think if we don't see less blanks in this event, which we're starting out in theory for blanks and no non-blanks, so that they might look to change it, maybe no blanks altogether or do something else. I think they're going to kind of tinker with it until they find something that works, which is great for the sport. That's what's always been so cool about the slams is that they test out stuff like that. Rules that get talked about forever before that just would never come into play. Then now the slams kind of push the issue, and then everybody has to kind of pay attention. And we've seen that with the no-tick rule. We've seen that we go all the way back with all kinds of even 5 rock exactly. So some pretty major rules that we now view as it almost feels like it's always been that way have only been implemented as quickly as they were because of the Grand Slams.
Years ago, we tried the Moncton rule.
The modified Moncton rule.
Which was no takeouts of anything for the first 4 ends, and it didn't really work. We only used it for one event, and some teams, we changed our strategy and just threw everything in the house and then froze and bumped it around, and then just a couple of doubles, and it was like, why is there no guards? It's like, well, because we didn't throw any guards. So, not that it didn't work, but it didn't change anything because it's still the only way to generate offense was to throw them in the free guard zone.
Right.
So I wonder if there's some way to, without eliminating front end players, because that's the last thing I want to do, but to try mixed doubles with, with full sweeping and with, everything else. Starting with rocks in play maybe or something like that.
Yeah, pre-placed rocks. I think that, that does a lot of it in mixed doubles, and it makes it exciting because other than power plays, it's a race to the middle and it's angles and freezes and all that kind of stuff, and you can't hit for a little while. And so it's just, there's never a boring end in mixed doubles, and that's, I think, what they're trying to kind of emulate somehow with 4-person curling.
So here we go, last rock of the first end, and she's taking ice to nose it. Holy smokes. That's almost in the middle of the rock. Nose her out turn, maybe she's sets it a bit.
You like it.
No problem. Doesn't matter where the broom is. It matters where the rock ends up. And that rock ended up wide of the broom, I think. But we got a blank on our sheet and on the far sheet. I think they're all blanking. So we got action next end with the new rule. We'll be back right after this.
When you've conquered another game, a long day, a job well done, and the final work call, we're your place. Come as you are and fit in comfortably. Mr. Mike's. Eat locally, enjoy casual.
Welcome back to the WFG Masters, the 4th stop on the Grand Slam of curling. I only know it's the 4th stop because I just count Mowett's wins, and that tells me how many slams they've played. So they've won 3, so this must be the 4th.
Has to be.
This is also known as the blank end open so far.
So
they
far.
Literally had 4 blanks, Chelsea. Nick Sulsky, if you're listening, your rule doesn't work. It's 0 for all the games that have ever played it. But we'll see here. So, and just to be a little bit more confusing, I'm looking around. Team Italy is still hitting in the house.
Interesting, because they
with Hasselberg has the hammer and they have one in the rings. I don't get it. It's having the reverse effect early. I don't understand what's happening here.
Well, for Team Italy without the hammer, though, Hasselberg can't blank again, so she's happy to hit. It's Anna who would have to drive the. So I imagine you'll see a corner guard here now from.
No, Inglis is hitting too. I gotta go, I think. I think one of my kids is sick. What's happened? Honestly, though, I guess she's going to throw a delayed corner and really put the pressure on Cassandra to get the second one.
Yeah, it must
in
be.
the free guard. The other thing is with the analytics, that's going to be the one thing that's going to hurt this rule is people are going to be, well, it's okay if we score 1 in the second.
Yeah.
Let's not take on too much risk to try and score 2 and give up a steal.
Right. Yeah, because you have to. Yeah, the only way to keep the hammer now is to give up a steal, which you're not looking to do, especially not that in the second and the odd even thing matters that much, but
we might need to talk to the home team live team to just have buttons here where we just push a button and we can switch games. Because Team Schwaller and Team Kim, they're doing what I would expect. We're about to see double centers. There's a freeze on one in the 4-foot and a corner guard.
Yeah, they've got some rocks going on in there.
So Danielle she is going to throw the corner guard now, so that was their plan. And all these teams will have talked about it.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
And this will be, okay, let's try and blank the first if they let us, and then in the second, we'll not take on a ton of risk, but Cassandra, in a bit of a fresh path, has to have not just a corner guard, but a usable one. It's not like just throw it in the ocean. If it's just over the hog line, it may as well be in the back corner. Needs to be where Danielle's broom is, somewhere on that WFG logo.
And to your point, it does put some pressure on. We're just on the next sheet over. Team Hasselborg took the same strategy with the delayed corner guard, but then it slipped into the house for Sophia Mayberg. So now there's no guards. You can't blank. And it's looking awful force-ish over there. So that it does put the pressure on. And luckily for Team Inglis, that did stop just in time.
And this is where this strategy will change. And I'm sneaking over to Anna's looking at 2 in a regular game here when you can blank. She's going to hit and roll, but she's throwing a corner guard. So it is going to change some calls because people aren't going to want to be automatically forced without the option to blank.
Definitely.
This is a little heavy from Carol. I think this was supposed to be a guard, and this looks like it's T-line. Not terrible, but not great. Not an easy double to stay.
Oh, yeah, pretty hard to stick it.
Could hit and roll on top. Could hit and roll behind the corner. Could freeze in the pocket, but judging by the strategy so far from both these teams, I don't think we're at that stage yet.
No, I agree. And for Team Inglis, again, I think it's it's your first game at the Slam in your home province, and there's probably some nerves there. So just don't want to get yourself into a crazy amount of trouble. Make sure that you have a reasonably makeable shot for 1, and 2 is kind of a bonus, I think, is the way that it appears they're approaching this end.
Really hard. 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 Hard, 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 hard.
It's a bit of a mistake, but that red one may come into play later for a freeze or something.
10-1.
Yeah, you could almost use that top 8 one as a guard and not freeze to it, but even just line up the jam. But feel coming from Silvana, she's pretty happy with the force here.
And I think she plays this, regardless of the no back-to-back blanks, I think she plays this shot in any game.
Yeah, I agree
Not
with
a very good steal situation.
No.
Hit and roll to lie 3, force is on.
Yeah, and that corner guard is what's going to get you in trouble more than likely, if anything is. So I think, yeah, I agree. I think this isn't to do with the rule. This is just the call in general.
The risk, so those are hooked. You could go around those. It always drove me crazy to give up a cheesy deuce, we would call it, where you never really took a chance to steal. You never had them in any trouble, and all of a sudden they get a deuce on you. And I think we're going to see that more often this week, because after one blank, I think it's going to be like, oh, okay, well, we can force them here. They can't blank, and that's going to be in the back of your mind, and you play a little defensive. And more times than not, when you play defensive, 5-rock rule without the hammer, you give up 2.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I do think that you're going to see the team without the hammer in these situations play more defensive, which I don't even think is wrong, but it does bring in the risk of giving up, one of those just really cheap deuces that drive you crazy, because, you weren't really trying hard to steal or anything, so you don't feel like you should give up a deuce, and then they make one good shot, and it's half and a half shot from your team, and then all of a sudden it's 2.
Because when you're really trying not to give up a deuce, like when you're up 1 without coming home, it's not like you're like, let's hit everything. You're like, let's throw 2 center guards.
Yeah, it's you almost have to play it like a steal. I do hear people say that when you see the 2 center guard play, they go, like, why are they trying to steal here? They don't need to steal. I'm like, that's a force play, though.
Yeah, it's not the idea. It's about shrinking the scoring area. It's harder to score 2 in the forefoot than it is to score it anywhere in the rings. I still would love to see a team just play double centers every time they don't have the hammer. Non-stop pressure on the other team. As a skip, Chelsea, when the other team throws double centers in like even a tie game or any point in the game, are you happy?
Yeah, it can be it can be scary for the team with the hammer for sure. It just it seems like a good thing because you get to wrap twice, and if you make those both good, you feel like you're in good shape. But then it doesn't take much. One good little sort of freeze tap, and then again, not even a full miss, but a half shot from your team, and all of a sudden it turns into a steal really quick.
So Danielle is going to try and freeze as they rolled in front of that back 12 rock. So this is actually a pretty good chance for Kira Brunton here. Doesn't look very heavy though.
No.
Need this one all the way back 12. Line looks really good.
Perfect.
As far as it goes. Go. Okay, that's great. 14-5.
But not as fast to the wing, because a 14-5 with that much sweeping would be probably almost back 12.
Yeah, definitely.
To the center.
It's probably the first one they threw in that path, though. I imagine if they were to throw a couple there, would get up to speed pretty quick. But pretty good guess there by Kira to not, because that's the other challenge, right? Is that you don't know how much slower it's going to be. So well managed there.
Now Savannah's got a tough shot, and we're 1 half shot away from a likely deuce.
Yeah.
With no risk so far for Team Inglis.
Yeah, that's exactly what you were talking about.
So
that
the defense
cheesy deuce
may be backfiring, but this is a very makeable shot.
Yeah. If she makes this, it all ends up being fine. It's just probably a little bit more pressure than you were hoping you were going to be facing when you were hitting to sit 3 in the house early in that end.
We'll see if this path has sped up. They did sweep it the whole way, so I would say this will slide a little better than Kira's. Say if you're going to bet on a miss, which eventually Nick's going to have you able to bet on every shot, I think.
I think he will too.
You would bet heavy. I would bet heavy would be the miss here. Never going to miss this light.
I agree with you.
Curl early is not good. I think they were curling that for speed more than line, though.
I agree.
I think they thought it was heavy.
It's a 14-1.
Yeah, they were curling that to try and slow it down, which drives me crazy, but here we go. Accidental 3 maybe, Chelsea?
Yeah, it could be. Like that's not a bad shot. She shot rock, but it is probably just fully open. Maybe a little corner of it lost, but if you can ever get low on this and get a little roll under that guard, it goes from a 2 to a 3 if this is made.
Could just freeze on the nose and say, what are you going to do now?
Yeah, I kind of like that.
Front of the tee line, it's almost the same shot Kira just threw. I know from experience, played Kira a bunch of times in mixed doubles. She's not really afraid of any shot, can make them all. Throws it sneaky hard when she needs to, too.
Yeah, she can throw it really hard.
That looks heavy. This is another one where anything but heavy here is going to be a pretty good result.
Whoa. Cass, hard. You're moving it. Keep going.
I love how sweepers lie. We lie to each other. You're doing it. Don't stop. It's like, I can't see if you are, but it feels good to hear that.
Yeah,
so.
you're just trying to encourage them.
Doubles there. It looks very thin. No, it's not thin. There is a double. It's tight to the red one.
Yeah, it's tight. It's there, but it's tight to the red. But even as long as you kill one, it's like
I think that's what Alina's going to play.
Anything else is really risky. If you give up a 2, it's not great, but it's not the end of the world. If you give up a 3, the difference between 2 and 3 feels monumental. Like it's only 1 point, but it feels like a lot more than that.
I don't see another shot. I guess that doesn't look like she's throwing it hard. When she gets to the hack, I think she's going to switch to throwing this hard.
Yeah, it looks like she's just trying to get to the nose with that ice, but you're just going to jam it then. If you're throwing it quiet, it won't go.
I haven't worked on my Swiss German since the last event, so I can't help you here.
I was just going to ask that. Mine's not very good either.
We should have had Kirk Myers will be here in the building. We should have had him up. He's been studying.
Yeah, if it was the French side of Switzerland, I might have a chance. The Swiss German, I got no chance.
Well, she's throwing it fairly hard, so she's expecting some curl here. That's hard enough to make the double.
She's playing it thin?
I think she's playing the double, and I just didn't think
just curling more than we expected. Yeah, that looked like a lot of ice to me too. I was with you.
No problem whatsoever.
Made that look easy.
Yeah, great shot from Alina. Good. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. That one we can figure out.
I think that's what that means.
Like a normal, like that. It should be going almost the whole way. We can play it really aggressive. I mean, the roll is great, but even if we go into it, practice. I think I may need a little bit more.
Yeah, hit and roll right into that red pocket at the back. Even got to pick a weight. Doesn't look like she can probably go across the top. So
no, I think it's hard to go across the top.
She can throw this with some speed. So here's something that's kind of interesting. Okay, I thought she was going to play the hit. So Team Hasselborg can't blank. There's only one Constantini rock in the house. It's edge of 12, and I thought she was going to play the hit on that. The hit and roll out there would make you go nuts.
Yeah.
You'd lose the hammer, so she's going to draw. So Danielle Inglis, first shot, second end here, trying to hit and roll. I think Woe is good here. You don't, like Danielle said, we can be aggressive.
Close.
Oh, just the wrong spot. So she didn't go over the top, but once you touch that, it's almost, the rock like picks up speed. Rusty loves to call that the gear effect.
The gear effect, yeah.
I don't know what that means, so I'll just say that's what happens.
Yeah. We'll just go with it, picks up speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little unfortunate there. A little thinner or a little thicker would have been fine, just kind of right in the middle and managed to spin. That shooter flew off of there, too. We had lively rocks.
Yeah, I was on the ice for practice last night, and it's almost like they accelerate when they hit. Which, back to science class, I think that means that the striking bands are thinner.
Yeah, I think it does too.
Thicker, more friction, that they don't transfer as much.
It's a little deader, yeah.
So Lena just trying to draw to a spot, probably to try and make Danielle hit. But she's kind of drawn right back to where Danielle just threw the hit, so. Trying to lie 3, put some pressure on Team Inglis. Worst case, they're going to give up 1, which is mission accomplished. Again, sweeping to slow that down.
Yeah.
That's the only reason to be sweeping that. I don't know how you make that illegal, but man, would I love to make that illegal. In the olden days, when you had your broom anywhere near the rock and it was that heavy, Steve Gould would come over and punch you in the head.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And it was fair, and everybody just kind of nodded and said, you deserved it.
Yeah.
Just like in practice. Yeah, just keep your heads up on it to see if it, I mean, I'm sure it will be that fast.
So a simple draw here, and they're talking about draw the button. But pressure against 2, second end. And as you said in practice, Chelsea, I haven't seen any draws miss light yet. Every miss has been heavy. Team Kim here in front of us just had a draw to the 8-foot for 2, and she threw it through the house.
Take a look. It's
Yeah, I think it sounds like it was, like you were saying, it was nice and fast in practice, but if anything, it almost seems like it might be a little bit faster today even than it was, because the miss across the whole ice has been heavy. I had 14-7 on that, so it should be close.
Should be perfect, and a nice draw there, and pretty well played end by both teams, and we've got our first point of the game, 1-0 Team Inglis lead. We will be back with the third end action after a quick break.
What that time at? Yeah.
When it comes to the game we love, having the right gear makes all the difference.
Gold Line's new curling shoes and brooms are a game changer.
The shoes, unbelievably comfortable.
And the brooms, lightweight and effective, giving you control on every sweep.
When I step onto the ice, I'm not just prepared, I look sharp.
Have you seen these shoes? They are a game changer.
And the brooms? Light as a feather.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
And is the choice of champions.
There's a place where the world's best curling not only lives, it rocks. Download the new Grand Slam of Curling app and live stream all the action. Get exclusive content, stats, merch, and more. Let's rock.
We're back to the WFG Masters. I'm Brent Lang, joined by Chelsea Carey, a permanent addition, Chelsea, to the booth. Welcome to the team. I don't think it's my job to welcome you because I'm new too, but
Well, you're more experienced than me, so.
we had a little bit too much testosterone in the booth, so welcome. It's nice to have some smart people in the booth now, not just us three dummies and guests, but
Happy to be on board.
we do have the best seat in the house, I think, for all of the action, and we're going to bring it to you. If you're just joining us, I would say welcome to the part-time curling fans. For those who have been here for the first two ends, you still have a chance to watch every end of this event. That's pretty good. I would commit to that, even if you are at work. It's not that hard to have it on in the background, right, Chelsea?
No, absolutely not.
Team Inglis going to throw the center guard right away and see how Silvana deals with this. Most in the third end. In the odd ends, they'll go around. They are going to throw the corner. Okay, we got some action this end. So how many upsets are we going to see here, Chelsea, in terms of the first picks? Are any of them going to win the first game? So the first picks were Holman took Ha, Tirinzoni took Inglis, Anderson took Skurlik, and Kim took Schwaller. Any of those?
I would.
They're not listening. Half of them are on the ice.
Yeah.
Half of them are sleeping. So you can be honest.
If I had to pick one
Yeah, you
of
have to
those
pick one.
that I think is going to be the upset, I would say it's probably the Schwaller-Kim
I think that's probably
game. I think that's the closest one.
good pick. If you had to.
If I had to, yeah. I'm not sure.
Which you don't really, but you do.
Yeah. Well, you're making me. So.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome to the team. This is how we roll. We bet on things and we force each other into stupid choices.
My orientation.
And then on the men's side, which we'll see this afternoon, Mowat chose the young guns, Team McDonald. Schwaller took Kleider, McEwen took Dropkin, and Gushu took Ramsfell.
15. Okay, 2 of us here dropped.
Corey Dropkin can pull some upsets. I wouldn't be
Yeah,
terribly
that's true.
surprised if he managed to pull that off.
I could almost see any of those.
Yeah,
but
those
I could
ones are
also see
more-
none of them. I mean, it's hard
Yeah.
to bet against Mowat, but
It's very hard. But that team is super talented. Jordan McDonald. They work so hard at the game, and they're very good young team. They'll be around. You'll be watching them at Grand Slams for a long time. So I don't know that now it's just really hard to beat this year, obviously. But they're definitely a team to watch throughout this event. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw them win a couple games here and maybe sneak into a tiebreaker or something like that. They're a very, very good young team.
But nobody wins their first Grand Slam game ever, do they?
I don't know.
We're going to find out for Team McDonald later today. Playing the chase here. Doesn't like leaving this on the button.
Always risky to play this when you can't touch the guard. But
Yeah, that's my thought too. So Selena needs to make this. If and the reason Chelsea says that is if you touch the guard off the center line, it goes back. Oh, no problem there. Rolls dead buried, I think, almost. Not quite far enough, but takes the play away from the center and going to have it behind the tee line. This looks a lot. They're going to have every chance at a deuce here.
Yeah, promising setup early on for Team Tirinzoni here.
So updates after the blanks. We didn't have any tragedies. Nobody lost the hammer, unfortunately for us.
No tragedies. That's a good way to start it.
Actually, there was a tragedy. They didn't lose the hammer, but Kitazawa stole 2 on Gim. Gim had the hammer. It's far away from my old eyes, but I think I'm correct. That is a steal
You
of
are
2.
correct, yes.
So we did have a disaster. Hasselberg drew for 1. Inglis drew for 1, and Team Kim missed the draw for 2. So we've got some fairly close matches early here. Savannah's still chasing this yellow, trying to roll under the guard, would now be above the tee line, so big chance for Carol here. Yeah, this looks close to the guard. I think she's just a hair heavy. I don't know that that shot's makeable with that much weight. That needed to be a back liner, and that was kind of heavy hack.
Yeah, just and the line call then makes sense too, because if Savannah would have known it was that much weight, she wouldn't have been so worried about sweeping it to get it by. It just that little bit extra weight then will hold it that much straighter. So if that message doesn't get to the skip, whether it's because the sweepers aren't sure that it is heavy or for whatever reason, then the line call tends to suffer because of that too.
That's the luxury of playing front end, Chelsea. I mean, that's a pretty good shot for a second. I didn't screw up the end too bad. Give my shooters a chance.
12-6.
And now sometimes I get the same shot twice, and now I have to make this one, though. I don't care what position you play. If you're going to play in the Grand Slams, you get the same shot twice. This one needs to be very, very close. The only miss here needs to be a missed line call.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't. You could go either way, because I think she's got more room now. So you could probably make it now with the weight she threw on the other one, or you throw the weight she was calling on the other one and make it that way too.
Just got to pick, right?
Yeah, it's just important to pick one of the two. That's what I was just going to say. Too often you see that double correction, and then it usually goes poorly.
That's a missed line call, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, just overswept a little bit. That could have been made if they swept that a little bit differently.
That's the other thing you do a lot at front end. You got, Savile used to call it our pointer finger. You point the blame. That's your fault.
Let's go control here.
I threw that perfect. I don't do that often. I gotta make the good ones. Like, I throw enough bad ones that when I throw it good, you gotta make the line call for me.
Yeah, give me a break.
Yeah. Keep me on the team here. So Kira trying to roll it back to the 4-foot, and this is a good chance for Team Inglis. Somebody's going to roll behind a guard. Whoever does it first is going to control this end. That one made a move on them.
Okay.
Yeah, called the audible there to roll under the corner guard. Wouldn't have been, obviously wasn't the first choice, wouldn't be the first choice because you want to bring play to the center, but she got enough underneath it that I don't think Silvana can get low, so pretty good result on that audible on the line call there.
I think Silvana's going to have to roll behind the center now, but it'll be high enough that the freeze won't scare her, but deep enough that she won't be too worried about drawing around everything. Like, this would roll kind of full 8-foot.
Yeah, it rolls to a good spot as far as depth in the house, at least. If you're going to roll behind a center guard with the hammer at this point, you don't really want it to be too deep and leave Danielle Inglis' team a freeze to kind of take your whole scoring area away from you.
Not saying much, which is usually a good sign. We'll overroll. Nobody with the perfect roll to really put pressure on the other team yet.
Control.
And as much as this roll would be behind the tee line, it would only be back button, and that would be, I think Inglis would be happy with that.
Definitely. Just got to try to get it underneath. That was probably the miss though for Silvana. At least this roll would be behind the tee line. If you underroll that and you leave her a hit and flop and she's kind of full top four, you're in more trouble than this would put her in, I think. But
yep, hard, both of you, hard.
Really got to go on this one.
Doesn't make sense to me though. Both.
No roll. Sit. Okay.
Pretty good. Comes out the other side, we'll be able to chase it, but This is heading to Blanksville too.
Sure looks like it.
So, sorry, Chelsea.
Okay.
Team Inglis has a theory: one sweeper, and then when it's panic time, it's both. So they think 2 sweepers still holds it straighter. Nobody really knows.
Nobody really knows. Yeah, that's true.
Just want to roll away again. The nose here wouldn't be good, or the half roll here wouldn't be good. This needs to kind of roll away from this center guard situation.
Yeah, even if you rolled out the other side of that, as long as you stay in the house, it's always fine. You want to roll at least behind that corner, if not even a little bit further, because you just don't want to leave Danielle a draw or a hidden roll back behind that center guard.
It's probably like a heavy hack or board waiter.
Yeah, looks like it.
Sounds close to nose. Okay. It's open enough that I'd be shocked if Danielle freezes on that.
I would be too.
Well, even if we do dig it out, though. Yeah. Well, we'd have to like come in there, but then we'd leave them with that. You know? So I almost don't mind the freeze.
Oh, making a liar out of me early. It doesn't take long, Chelsea. Welcome to the booth where we're never right.
The conspiracy theory is back in full force. They're doing it just to mess with us.
Yeah. The commentator's curse, I tried it at the mixed doubles trials while I was on the ice playing, and it didn't work as well against my opponents as it does from up here.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be
it's different.
An opponent's curse that you can pull out. It's only when you're up here and you have no actual skin in the game.
Right.
Yeah, really nice here.
I found myself commentating on the ice, though. Maybe I've always done that. I don't know.
And give it a sec at the beginning here.
It's an occupational hazard.
Right. In front of it, that's fine.
So Danielle needs, she did make a good draw last end. That's kind of in her head here, but trying to make the dead freeze on the button. Not a lot of room for error here, though, Chelsea. Any kind of bump or any offline.
Yeah, I think the only miss that would be maybe okay is a little light and a little over curl. You could be almost full forfeit and buried, and then at least make the score a little bit harder.
Yep, hard, you got it, line's great, hard, distance, hard.
A little bit light. Yeah, as you said, if that was on that line and in the forefoot, it's pretty good.
Yeah, like if you got that to top button and we're just buried and not frozen, I think it would be okay. But as it stands, that still leaves more room than you wanted to leave for Alina Petz here.
Perfect is get around this yellow and bury kind of half of it around that top guard. The concern is if you leave it open, it'll be a pretty simple double and you'll be forced to one. Plan B is freeze, corner freeze the yellow. Force Danielle to a harder draw, but if she makes it, you're forced. I think if you want to guarantee 2 here, you have to make the perfect shot. You got to draw a full 4, third or half around that yellow one. There'll be no double, and she'll probably just try and pick the back one.
Yeah, as long as you get a piece around that yellow, I think you'd be pretty safe. She'd have a chase to get one of them, but not ever both of them. So you're probably securing your deuce by doing that. For sure, tolerance to be on the light side and corner freeze that yellow. At least make Danielle throw a hard shot.
Probably the easiest way to make sure you get 2 would be to throw a freeze bump on your own. Like come down and sweep it at the end, get to the nose and bump it a foot or 2, and there wouldn't really be a double.
Yeah, as long as you got buried enough that she couldn't chase it with a back 8 and stay frozen on the nose, because then your scoring area gets really small. But I think if you get this anywhere deeper than that yellow and a little bit, just that little bit hooked around the yellow, then your deuce is reasonably safe.
So Lena's draw last end is still going, so we'll see if she can make that adjustment. They were on it right away. The hop sweeping style, they hop up and down the ice. That looks exhausting to me.
Yes, I agree with that, but all sweeping looks exhausting to me. So.
Well, it is. I don't think you wanted to curl that. Should have held that straight, actually, and that's exactly what you didn't want to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they kind of panicked on the sweep.
It should stay pretty
So
true.
as much as the front end got to point at the skip for one, they get to point right back.
Yeah, that I wonder if that was like they swept Danielle's all the way down the sheet right out of her hand and maybe just polished up that path a bit because they were sweeping that for speed a little bit early and then slid on them just a lot better than they expected at the end.
Thank you, Ken.
Well, this isn't simple. I mean, this is more than a piece buried, and
it's a hard shot for sure.
Wreck is really bad. You're gonna give up a whole bunch.
I need to make noise on some red rocks. If you don't get them both, it's not the end of the world. But
Whoa.
Uh-oh.
Curl, hard.
Oh, no.
Whoa,
Maybe the back one, luckily. Oh,
just enough.
that was hard to do, to
It
just
was
get
hard
one,
to
right?
do, yeah.
I thought we were close to almost getting the back.
Yeah, I thought so too, Danielle. So got away with a bit of a sweeping error on Alina's first, and now a simple draw for two that she just threw to take a 2-1 lead, and we don't have to talk about that new rule. In-turn draw, final stone of the third end. Team Tirinzoni, fourth rock throw, Alina Petz. Exact same shot she had on her first. Line looks good. Oh, line's tight now. Just gonna touch the yellow. I don't think they got it. They did not.
They did. That's a big miss.
That's disappointing, and a big break for Team Inglis, though. 1-1 after 3. We're going to take a quick break and get back for the fourth end action.
I've stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on, every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance,
Pushing limits.
Seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
It's a gold line.
it's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
We're back at the WFG Masters Grand Slam of Curling. If you don't have the Grand Slam of Curling app yet, you can't call yourself a curling fan. Even if you don't want to call yourself a curling fan, you should still get it. You can check out all sorts of stuff, stats. That's where you click a simple link to watch Home Team live and check in on all of the action. All 4 games coming to you live every draw all week long. I'm Brent Lang, joined by Chelsea Carey, and we have the Team Tirinzoni, Team Inglis game for you here. And Team Inglis dodged a bit of a bullet last end and got a bit of a mystery force, and now has the Hammerback tied with playing the fourth end. Chelsea, what are your thoughts on the game so far?
I think for Team Inglis, you have to be really happy with how this has gone so far. The nice blank in the first end with really no pressure. Hit it all the way out, gave them some time to maybe settle any nerves that were going on, playing in a slam at home and all that kind of stuff. And then forced to one in the second end, which isn't great, but wasn't a disaster. And she was never really in trouble of giving up a steal, which is kind of what you want. And then, got away with one a bit in the third end. So you have to be really happy if you're Team Inglis. For Team Tirinzoni, going to be important to just stay patient here. They've had opportunities and just haven't quite been able to close them out. But that a team this good, that's going to eventually turn around. So important to keep that patience, which can get hard when you're in a game that you feel like the score should be more separated than it is.
I would guess that before the game, Team Inglis never going to say, hey, this team is better than us day in and day out, but over a long time frame, it's just that the numbers, I think, would support that and the success these two teams have had. But the longer this game stays close, I think the more advantage is Team Inglis. Try and shorten the game a bit down to a 2 or 3 end game.
Yeah, 100%. When it's a team like Tirinzoni, the reality is that they're better than most teams in the world. So, whenever you're playing a team that's better than you, the shorter that you can make the game, the better. You're more likely to beat them in an end or two than you are to beat them in 8 full ends of kind of a full-on battle. And so, this game being a little bit more open, I think, also plays to Inglis's favor with not quite as many rocks in play as maybe we sometimes would see.
And if that's true, which we said it, so it's true.
Obviously.
Because nobody fact checks us. I guess the only people that can fact check us is our friends on X. And if you want to come at us or at me, it's at blang99. You can correct every mistake I make. That would keep you busy all week. But if that is true, that's advantage Inglis, then that's why we were surprised that Team Tirinzoni came out in the first end and threw it in the rings a couple of times.
Yeah, I'm still quite surprised by that, and I wonder, and because we did see it across all the sheets too, it just makes me wonder if this new rule for some reason is what's driving that, and I didn't expect that. I'm not sure why that would be driving that, but you do kind of wonder. It's been, like I said, it's just been a really long time since both playing in slams and watching them, since I've seen every one of 4 sheets be a blank end, and not like the kind of blank end where there's 2 guards and 3 rocks in the house and they make a run double and then a triple and then there's no rocks. Like the kind of blank end that was a blank from the start on all 4 sheets this morning.
Unforced error here by Carol, and that was a chance to put some serious pressure on Team Inglis, and they still do have some pressure, but if they had froze that properly, it would have been huge trouble. And I hope these teams didn't all get together and say, hey, let's send a message to the powers that be. The curling, I don't know, how do you say CZAR? Is that czar?
Czar, I think,
yeah, the curling czar. You know, we don't want to piss him off, so I hope that's not what's happened.
No. We like him, we want to keep him around.
Yeah, exactly. So a bit of a run back here, try and open things up. You got to get rid of that one top button. That's a problem. So see if Calissa can. Don't want to do that. You can see by the body language, nobody's looking each other in the eye. Everybody knows how bad that is, right?
Yeah.
And it's so close to really good. I mean, you just had to hit that an inch higher, but unfortunately, you couldn't. You don't want to think about missing, but you couldn't miss it that way.
Yeah, the high side was the tolerance there, but it's hard because you're also trying to make it, and you're so close to making it that you go, well, geez, I wanted to miss it on the high side, but you're trying to make it first before you're worrying about how to manage it, and that's just a really unfortunate result there for Calissa.
Carol now with the same shot, and if she freezes this just a hair on the center line side, right on the forefoot, like this is. You're really worried about line. Actually lost it a bit. If it was frozen that much on, like that's still really good. But if it was frozen that much on the other side, none of these runbacks would ever work. Playing the double peel here. And then going to have to make a straight back after this, I think.
Yeah, probably. And I think you're always, it's not as good as the angle. If it was a mirror image, it would be better. But it's hard to hit it somewhere where it doesn't clip your own yellow rock behind it, too.
Okay, thanks.
I think they maybe, that's great, but I think they maybe should have taken a shot at that straight back. Like, eventually you're going to have to make it, so take a few extra chances.
Yeah.
Even if they had run it in there and jammed it, if you just ticked it on the left side, you could have passed the back one and at least been shot.
Yeah, and at least move some stuff around. That you're just in a bit of jail right now in that top of the forefoot there with those 2 red rocks locked. So anything that even just unlocked that angle would be helpful.
I guess there's an out-turn draw. Maybe Danielle's lying to herself that she's okay with throwing that later.
It is there.
They are second shot. That's good news. The draw is definitely there.
It's ugly, but it's there.
Yeah, and if they miss a couple, if Kira can't make a run back here and blow things up a bit, they're going to start talking about, well, let's just protect that out-turn draw. I can make that out-turn draw.
Well, and if you guard that out-turn draw, she has no shot. So at some point, you're not even going to guard your two red rocks. You're just going to guard that draw and say, good luck trying to score.
Trying to dead guard this one. Yeah, this one's got to curl a little bit for sure. Getting awfully tight too. I think they would have liked that 4 feet higher, but does the trick. Could chase that one though. I guess if you hit it on.
You like hitting it there. You'd leave that one there, but at least it misses her back. I have some of it on
Yeah, you could.
Pardon?
Yeah, I like the intern chase. I think any run back is going to always clip your
What
yellow.
you're talking about just straight hitting that? Okay.
That wouldn't be bad. Oh, I don't know why you're throwing it so hard.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Kira's plan here. Hacks. Maybe
Yeah.
you get a little saver over here, side 8.
Yeah, try to stay as close to it kind of as you can. Like hit as much of it as you can probably without bringing the guard into play. But this is a really big opportunity here for Team Inglis. You could save yourself a lot of heartache by making this one and at least killing that back red and not leaving that staggered angle.
Whoa.
That was a great angle there by Home Team Live. That was as good as you can throw a curling rock. It's just a matter of if they had the right ice and if she has the right weight. And she does both. This is real good.
Squeaked it by the guard. What a great shot from Kira Brunton.
Almost stayed on the red.
Almost stayed on it, yeah. But I had to throw a little less weight to make that. But either way, that's an end saver right there.
There is a yellow double. Would probably leave a double back, maybe even a triple actually. Right on the nose, just missed the red, double the yellows, and then they'll be basically a hair high, and it's going to be really close to that triple.
Yeah, you almost could consider just hitting and rolling here to a freeze rather than making the double, but I guess you probably got to kill that back. Yellow. I don't think you can make the double and the roll, but maybe.
Would have to be really smoking.
Yeah, you'd have to throw it very hard.
Sounds like she's missed this low. Oh, no. Sneaky perfect?
Yeah, sneaky perfect because it lined up the jam too straight onto that yellow. I don't think that could have worked out any better, actually.
Oof. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of that.
It's like back button. Back
You're just going to
4.
freeze and they blast the double. I guess you're just playing for the open.
You'd have to bump it a hair. Want to go look at it?
Yeah, I think this Kira should be coming down here. You see anything else, Shells? Could you throw one like... It's really hard to freeze on shot rock, eh?
I think it is,
Anything good, and then they just come down and bump the back one.
And like my first thought was to run the red guard into the pile, but it's always just jamming on the back one, so you might leave yourself in trouble, but at least you might roll your shooter away a bit and they would have to guard it, but you're probably killing your yellow, and then you might have to draw against 4 or 5, which is never ideal. I don't mind this call.
As long as Danielle's happy with drawing the button here, because that's where I see this ending. Unless, I guess Kira could make a perfect freeze bump. They've overswept this.
Knife it. Keep knifing it. Just knife it. Just knife. Straight knife. Straight knife. Straight knife. Yep. Okay. 14-6.
It's not shot, I don't think, but it's also, that was almost really good. Yeah, if that curled and bumped it a little. Yeah, it just needed to curl another inch, and I think it would have been perfect. You would have been shot rock and frozen in a little pocket. It wouldn't have been going anywhere for several shots. It looks like red is still shot to me, but it's hard to tell. It's really close. Yeah, if I had to pick, I would say the same, but it does look like it's close. Just going to try and kind of nose this, stay on the yellow, lie 2. Yeah, unlock that back one so that you can kill a yellow on your next one if you feel like you need to.
Yep, dat is super. Maar ze weg te hebben naar een andere zitten.
Scott Jones on X is looking to make a fan of Wayne Middaugh. He's calling every end and draw as a Caesar draw from now on. It's a good way to return the game to what it was in the 80s and even early 90s. That's even before my time, Scott. That's well before your time. Prior to deciding curling needed athletes. Come on, Scott. We were always athletes. Bring back the Players' Lounge. That I can get on board with. This one over curling. Don't want to roll off here. It's close. Ooh, a little, almost like a double touch there.
Yeah. I think it worked out
Really
pretty
good.
well. It's hard to get shot here for Danielle.
It doesn't make a difference. That yellow one's never scoring.
No.
Create a bit of a wall.
Yeah, like a back forefoot on the nose.
Yeah, I think that's the only way you have it. Even if you're not shot rock, at least you maybe set yourself up to have something on your next one.
Yeah, a little bit.
I would call this a bit of a defensive shot first.
Like a hair high.
Like even if you froze on there, it would be pretty good. They might still be shot, but
Yours kind of held.
Yeah, at this point, I think, realistically, a steal of 1 isn't a disaster given how this end has gone. You'd love a chance to score, obviously, in an even end here, but they've been in trouble most of this end. So if you make the freeze good, then you shouldn't be giving up more than 1, at least, and maybe you can try something on your next one to get in there for shot.
Need to jiggle it around a bit.
Back 8.
Like just back 8, but no panic. It's really holding with the sweep here.
okay. So the nightmare situation here for Inglis, unfortunately, is that the over curl and just tick that one top forefoot
Looks like
would be really, really bad.
Just back 8.
So that's why I mean you need to get the weight right. This is just a precise shot.
Yeah,
that she
high
needs
side's
to
not
make.
great either. The over curl's
No.
worse, but high side's pretty bad. So it's sort of one of those ones that there isn't a tolerance. You just have to get
That's why I wonder
really
if you
close
just
to
play
making it.
draw instead of
Yeah,
back 8.
I'm with you. There's a lot more risk by throwing the extra weight here.
Uh-oh.
Really got to go to get this one by.
Said you can really hold it. They're going to need to. Commentator's curse coming up. I didn't like that weight. It's just an easier shot with straight draw, I think, but
Less risky, yeah. I think the best result was with that weight, but
For
it
sure.
just brings in so much extra risk. Now you're looking at giving up not only a steal of 1, but a multiple point score. Like at this point, I don't think she's going to have a shot to score if this is made reasonably well. It's a matter of how can we only give up 1.
yeah, I don't know. Like, just run down the ice and draw to the top of the button here and say it's your turn.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're tapping over there. Right on, like you don't want to be right on it because then she could throw it hard and get them both going. Like this is a how do we steal 2 question.
Yes, for sure.
Because unless she falls down, she's going to steal 1. Like as long as she takes away that same shot, she's going to score 1.
Yeah, it's for sure just how do we set ourselves up to steal a second point? Because anywhere in front of it, you're stealing 1.
Even if you're a little bit heavy and get to the nose, you're still going to be impossible for Inglis to score. So a big turn of events here, and just as we said, everything was kind of going Team Inglis's way.
Yeah, we're just commentator cursing everybody all over
Right?
the place this morning. My first day in the booth full time, and I've already administered several commentator curses.
It's a lot of responsibility. So final stone for Team Tirinzoni. Alina Pet's out-turn draw right to the button. Wants to lie 3. Even if she is short, though, it still plays for a steal of 2 because there's really no way in.
No, yeah, short's fine. You're short, then as long as you tuck a piece, then I don't know what she does. If you're short and you leave it open, then she has a double on the top 2 maybe to only give up the single point. But there's a lot of places you can put this that are pretty good right now.
Yeah, and the line looks good enough that the weight could be heavy and you're still going to be good. This is
really curling.
It is really curling. It must be light. Can Selena get it there to lie 3? I don't know. She won't move. Yeah, she did.
Great sweep there. I didn't think that was getting there for the third.
So there's a double, but the problem is it just jams, and it's going to be too red. This is just too red. I don't know.
Pardon? Yeah, I think either way we're drawing.
Can you come off the yellow? And no, that doesn't. No. There's no room for your yellow to get closer.
You might be able to outdraw those top 2.
Yeah, you can.
Just draw a solid full forefoot and give up a single point. It's not pretty, and I made that sound a lot easier than I'm sure it looks right now to Danielle, but it is there, and I don't see anything else.
Yeah. She got on my path for her throw, so this one should be a better one. We're just saying, like, in the middle, it's just seeming to go. This one should hold a lot nicer. Yep, sweep for T.
It's a good conversation there. We did see a few rocks earlier in the end that were out a little bit wider and ran, and they were surprised they were oversweeping things and it wasn't curling at the end. Then it seemed they're thinking that in a bit of a tighter path, they're just seeing more curl. So Danielle thinking that this path will be a little bit faster and straighter than the one she just threw in.
Sweep for T.
So need a perfect draw here to give up one.
Easy. Cass's rock.
I don't think you're ever going to need... They're worried about... The line's fine as long as it's not heavy. Yeah, it just can't be heavy here. What a shot.
Really well done.
Game saver. We got a steal of one for Team Tirinzoni, and great shot by Team Inglis on the final stone of the fourth end. We're going to have a fourth end break and come back for second end action right after this.
When you've conquered another game, a long day, a job well done, and the final work call, we're your place. Come as you are and fit in comfortably. Mr. Mice, eat locally, enjoy casual.
When it comes to the game we love, having the right gear makes all the difference.
Gold Line's new curling shoes and brooms are a game changer.
The shoes, unbelievably comfortable.
And the brooms, lightweight and effective, giving you control on every sweep.
When I step onto the ice, I'm not just prepared, I look sharp.
Have you seen these shoes? They are a game changer.
And the brooms? Light as a feather.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
And is the choice of champions.
There's a place where the world's best curling not only lives, it rocks. Download the new Grand Slam of Curling app and live stream all the action. Get exclusive content, stats, merch, and more. Let's rock.
I've stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on, every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance,
Pushing limits.
Seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
It's a Gold Line.
it's a gold line.
It's a Gold Line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Good morning, curling fans around the world. We've got Grand Slam of Curling action here for you. The WFG Masters live from Guelph, Ontario. Of course, I think it's still called the Sleeman Center. This is the home of Sleeman. And this week, it's the home of the best curlers in, I don't know if it's the best in the universe, but it's definitely the best in the world.
Definitely the best in the world, yeah.
And we had an interesting finish to the first half of the game there, Chelsea. And Tirinzoni stealing that single point and an even end for you analyticers. Is that a word? Let's get that added to the Oxford Dictionary.
I like it.
At least the curling dictionary. And taking a little bit of control here in this game as Team Inglis with the hammer in the fifth end, down 2-1. But still a tight game, could go either way. But that's a big steal in the fourth end. A bit of a momentum switch, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. But I also think that for Team Inglis, you have to be looking at it as, thank goodness it was only one.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the game could have almost been over there if Danielle doesn't make an absolutely clutch draw to the full forefoot that with not a lot of real estate to draw to. So easily could have been a multi-point steal and wasn't. So as much as you hate to give up the steal in 4, you're only 1 down playing 5. And I think if you went into the game, if you told Team Inglis going into this game that they'd be 1 down with playing 5, they would have taken that every day of the week.
Yeah, why does that never really work mentally, though? Like
I know.
You say it all the time. It's like you're up 3 with the hammer playing the second last end, and they steal 3, and you're like, guys, girls, like we would have taken tied with coming home. It's like, yeah, but
but not anymore.
That's not how our emotions work.
No, it's true.
So good come around from Cassandra, a little bit deep here, and Selena with a decent freeze. A little bit of, they kind of carved it for line, and I think a lot of times we worry way too much about line on draw shots. If the weight is good, it's almost never going to under-curl on this ice. The ice, by the way, looks perfect. For a first draw, this is as good as you're ever going to see. I think we're in for a treat this week, Chelsea.
I agree. It's sometimes you see that little bit of green early where you're getting a ton of curl and a little slower and all that stuff, and then as the week goes on, it gets a little better. But coming right out of the gate here with almost perfect ice conditions by the look of it.
Puts all the pressure on the players.
Yeah, that's true. You can't blame the ice anymore.
Now that I'm not a player, I'm with the ice makers. It's all the players' fault.
Bring it behind then. We don't have the line.
This one's not going to get the line because it's just a little bit heavy. That was a foot lighter. It would have been on the corner of that red one. Not a terrible result. I mean, it looks like an easy double, but the red one's kind of in the way.
Yeah, not great, not bad, but it got just enough curl that at least it makes it hard. If that curled any less, it would be a nothing, like a nose hit double and a really good situation for Tirinzoni. At least this makes it a little bit tricky to make the double and to stick in the house because you can't quite see that whole yellow rock. So it's definitely there, but you got to be a bit careful here for Carol.
She is throwing it like she's trying to make the double. There's no sense hitting and rolling with hack a rock. You'll just leave a pocket double. This looks good. That's a good shot, but that was, like you said, that was a tough one just because they got that line. And now a chance for Team Inglis to not run that back. Nope, that's not the chance. You have to freeze. What did Kira say? Do we have to freeze or no? I think this is a great chance if you make a good freeze and a shot you just threw.
I like the freeze too. I'm with you. It's it turns into almost a Donnie B3 here if you make the freeze.
That one back 8, it's like I don't ever want to hit that if I'm Tirinzoni, but
okay, that's fine.
it goes on the board just as big as one on the button. So Danielle may be thinking, even if we don't make the runner, probably going to get a blank here. Yeah, I think that was a big chance.
Yeah.
In a spot that they know better than anywhere else, that draw.
Yeah, they've thrown it a bunch, and anywhere kind of on the corner of it, even on the nose of it, would have been okay. There's quite a few good places you could have put that and put some pressure on Sylvana's team.
So what do you think about an event with no sweeping, Kelsey?
I think that would be very interesting. You know, sweeping's become, it's obviously incredibly important, and sometimes with the technologies and stuff, we could argue almost too important.
I don't think anybody would argue against you when you say that. I've never heard anybody say, no, this is perfect.
Yeah, it's like you want your sweepers to be able to help you make the shot, but we still want it to be a thrower's game in theory. So then if you had no sweeping at all, then it would really become a thrower's game. But you'll also see a lot less shots made. So it's a question.
And then you need something for all the players to do on the ice when they're not throwing. So
yeah, they just stand there and watch. Like that would be really
boring. Throw a bar
boring.
at either end, and then Madas said he'd make a comeback.
Yeah, that's true.
All I got to do is throw 2 and then sit at the bar.
Throw 2 and drink some Caesars, yeah.
Right? Throw 16 rocks, drink 8 Caesars, and see who add them up at the end. So open end now. Tirinzoni will try and keep these red rocks spread out. A hit and roll a little bit towards us, a little bit over curl for Sylvana's intern here would be good. And I think Team Inglis, you may as well take a shot at any double you get, or at least hit and roll over there.
Yeah, try to group them and set yourself up for a double at some point so you can get a blank out of this.
Do you think we're not going to see anybody lose the hammer this week, are we? Based on a blank, like an accidental hit and roll out, it would be the only chance, really, right?
Yeah, I guess. And you would think that if you were in a place where, like, so if their only rock that you're hitting is on the edge of the 12-foot or something, edge of the 8-foot, you'd think you would just draw to make sure that you don't bring that into play.
It's going to be a steal, and you'll keep the hammer if you miss it.
So the accidental rollout would have to be from somewhere near the center line, because the only way you're hitting the rock is if it's in the 4-foot, probably, right? So then it would be a pretty big miss. I don't think we will. These players are too good for that to be the case in theory, but you never know.
Whoa. Whoa.
See if Kira can hit and roll over towards that red. It
Calissa.
might be one you don't even want to roll that far.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Straight. Roll. Yep.
Little collision there. Danielle's won lots of sportsmanship awards over the years. Everybody loves her.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anybody say anything bad about Alina either, actually.
No.
Everybody else almost, Chelsea. Not you, of course.
Well, of course not. No, I'm sure that's not true.
If nobody hates you, you're not very good at anything.
That's fair. That's a good way to look at it.
That's about the only line of Ben Hebert's that I actually think he's right.
It does sound like something he would say.
Yeah, that's how he justifies how many people hate him on the ice.
Sounds
They
like
hate me
Benny.
because I'm so good.
Yeah.
Which is partially true.
Yes.
It's more how good your teammates have been over the years, Ben. That's who we really hate. Good shot there. That's why I said maybe you don't want to roll too far, because then they can hit and roll away again.
Yeah, like that looks like the perfect roll, but it leaves you room for the hit and roll back. If you only rolled that to, say, middle of the 8 foot, then Savannah would have to hit it on the nose, and then you have a double back. She wouldn't be able to roll all the way across the house. So looked really good, but probably not quite what would have been ideal.
This one will roll close to it, so you probably want to pick she's trying the double.
Yep. Hard.
This is an all or nothing here. Make this, you get the blank. You miss it, you probably don't.
Touch it.
Oh, just enough. Oh no, Danielle doesn't like it.
It's your choice.
It's your choice. So they're not sure. From there it looks out, but the overhead camera is more in the middle of the ring, so.
I don't think it really changes anything for Savannah. You just draw the open side and hope it's in. I
Yeah,
think.
exactly.
It's not really like you can do much about whether it is or isn't. If it's not, then it's probably a blank anyway. So just draw the open side and hope that, then make them have to decide if do you take a chance on rolling out and you know, like that's just ends up being a choice that Danielle has to make at the end. Like, how sure are you that it's out before you throw the blank, or do you nose it and take your one just to be on the safe side?
Looks like it's out. She's drawn towards it.
Okay, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, she wouldn't be throwing this if they thought there was any chance it was in the house. So there's our answer. It does look out on the overhead.
It does.
They were looking at it more closely than I expected them to, based on our overhead views here. Of course, great angles and views of all this stuff provided by our friends at Home Team Live, doing an awesome job as always. So drawing over here in the hopes that she might get lucky and get a jam kind of situation from Danielle making a chase on this.
Danielle's not convinced.
No, she was the reason I thought,
Yeah.
that must be closer than, because she kind of went, when it stopped.
Their shot call a huge ton. Yeah. Play the double. I like playing it this way because we've seen it, with firm.
So if you think it's out, you're not too worried about even staying. Like, who cares, really?
If you think it's out, I think you're throwing the other turn and trying to get to the nose or to get to kind of 3/4. But if you roll out, you roll out. Just don't jam it. But looking to play the double, which it's great if you make it, because then you're certain that it's out. But it brings the jam into play by trying this. And then you would make sure it's in. So it's not what you're looking to do here. On this right out of her hand.
Audible? Sounds like a dead jam to me. Oh, no. Perfect. Never mind. If that's out, that's perfect.
If that's out, that's perfect. Yeah, I don't think they're.
I really
she's
think
not
it's
convinced
out.
It's out.
There's
but
no way that Alina would have drawn over towards it if it wasn't.
Yeah, I think Sylvana's team is sure it's out, and Danielle's not totally sold.
That's kind of how the human condition works. Everything's going against you in your mind. But yeah, if it was even close enough to wonder, she would have drawn open side and then made her at least make a choice. And it's like if she hits and rolls out and it's in, you feel like an absolute idiot for getting forced.
Yeah.
So
yeah, she's like the Sylvana's team for sure is certain that it's out because they would have they wouldn't have thrown that draw to that side of the sheet if they thought there was any chance that that rock was in the house.
So final stone for Alina Petz here, trying to hit and roll back in front of that red one, make the blank a little tricky.
Carol Howell trying to get this to walk over.
Kind of rolls into a spot where she's not going to be able to play the intern blank, I wouldn't think, or maybe she will and spin out. They're still looking at it.
Rip it like it's out? Do you like that, or are you? How confident are you in that?
Give us a number, Kira.
I think it's out.
Okay.
That's the question when I used to play with Amy Nixon. The question was whether she'd bet a case of beer on it or not.
Yeah,
oh, wow, so that's a big bet.
I'd say, how sure are you? And she'd be like, I'd bet the case. And I was like, okay, then we're sure.
Okay. You like that? Yeah. I don't know.
So looking for the blank here. Maybe. Looking for the blank.
Out, so we're peeling it.
Yeah, there you go. Trying to take the hammer to the 6th end. We'll bring that new rule back into the conversation at least.
Be a deja vu from the start of the game if
right?
she makes this. I imagine you might see a stick on that red rock if she makes it, though. I would think that they might measure that.
Jumped on it right away.
Clean. Or nose in here. You held that so straight.
And no problem. A little confusion, but we got the peel and now we got the measure.
Okay, so we're good then? No measure? Okay, thanks.
When you've conquered another game, a long day, a job well done, and the final work call, we're your place. Come as you are and fit in comfortably. Mr. Mike's. Eat locally, enjoy casual.
We're back and we just missed a measure, but I don't think it was in the rings. I think everybody knew that, but you got to take a chance. Sometimes the rings are out, less often now than it used to be. We used to paint them by hand. As a kid, I painted the rings at our home club, so they were definitely out. I was probably like 12, so. But these are, now they come as decals of some sort, so it's very, very rare that they're out. And sounds like the rings are true, and we got a blank end. Heading to the 6th end, we got a question coming in from Twitter. Oh, Wayne Tuck, so it'll be a dumb question. Just kidding, Wayne. Here's a question for this week in Guelph. If you have hammer and blank the first end, in the second end, the other team is lying 2, only 2 rocks in play, come in your last shot. Do you take 1 or peel out and give up the force? You mean give up the steal to keep hammer? Wayne's on the Caesars in the morning. No, you take the point, right?
Yeah, in the even end, I think you do.
I think you take it in any end.
I think you take it in almost any end, yeah. Maybe
points
not.
Are points.
Yeah.
Take them when you can get them.
The only time I think you make that argument is 7 going to 8 if you're with the 1 up,
sure,
1 down thing. Some teams might give up the steal then if they prefer to be 1 down with the hammer.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think you take the point.
So there's the correct answer to your question, Wayne. From the booth.
But that's I sort of alluded to that a little bit earlier. It becomes that the only way to keep the hammer is to give up a steal. So I guess depending on how badly you want the hammer, that would be your only
what's it
option.
worth to you?
Exactly.
3.
So Team Inglis cannot blank this end, but they don't want to blank this end anyway, so it doesn't really change their strategy in 6. Down 1 with the hammer, you're trying to score 2, so you need a corner guard. And I think you'll see Team Tirinzoni Silvana will probably throw a tight center, and then Cassandra de Groot here will be asked to throw the freeze.
Okay, line's good.
Cassandra and I grew up in the same kind of hometown.
Really
Our parents were friends for, well, still are, not were. They didn't break up or anything.
Really going, guys. Yep.
But have been friends for years.
Hard.
I think Cassandra started. I don't know if she started curling at the Collingwood Curling Club or the Stainer Curling Club.
Yep. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Yep. Hard. Oh my gosh.
I'm sure that her parents, Liz and Kevin, are here at some point this week, if not today.
Yeah, I would think that Team Inglis will have lots of fan support, lots
well,
of
they
families
better.
and
That was the
friends,
idea.
Yeah.
So Cassandra would like that guard a little closer to center, a little closer to the rings, but I still think Felina's been asked to throw a guard here.
Yeah, they're looking for the tight guard. Corner guard's not the most useful, so chance to put some pressure on here.
With that, does it change anything here if you're Danielle? I think you still freeze,
I think
right?
you still freeze. Yeah, if you really needed, if this was 8 and you had to get 2 or 3 to win, you might throw a second corner guard on the same side so that it's useful. Given the situation here, I think you need to make sure you can score. You'd love 2, but a single point plays, and then somebody scores 1 and 7, and you're in a pretty good spot coming home. So I think second guard is just a little bit more aggressive than you need to be right now for Danielle Inglis, and she hasn't played the game that way all morning this morning. It's been that lean towards the more defensive side, if anything. So I'm not surprised by this call, and I think this is what I would play too in this situation. Just you don't need to get into crazy risky stuff when you're only 1 point down.
They were sweeping that one for line, ended up a little heavy, and the Donnie B3 is not back button though. You need that. You need that. You got to miss by more.
Yeah.
Too close, but that was just missed
too
swept.
good. Yeah, it was that path seems to have them a little bit fooled. They've seen some of them really curl and die, and some of them run straighter and better, and I just don't think they've quite figured out where the spot is that makes it curl, or maybe if it's a release thing or something. But we've seen both teams be a little bit fooled with this outturn coming home.
So now a chance for Carol here to put it right on the button, frozen, and again put some serious pressure on Team Inglis. Line's good. Oh, Leanish not good.
Just lost it on the sweep a little bit, thought they were by and got that little rub. It's still not a bad shot, but it would have been so perfect if they got it by.
You got to play the run back and you got to save the guard, but you really have no choice.
Yeah.
Into here.
Yeah, even if you don't make noise in the house, if you roll this towards your other guard, then at least it's a more useful corner guard. Worst case scenario, you have to stick your shooter on this almost as much as you need to. Like you're trying to make noise in the house, but you definitely have to stick it.
Just need Callista Daly here to make this one. There's no other option. Still going back. This is going to be a peel, I think. Sylvana's probably still guarding, though. Oh, she's not.
I think I would be.
I would be guarding the second or third shot rock.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and your second, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Because even coming in, like I was expecting, like in the path that, like
sounds like Cassandra. Yeah, listen to her. You can't even hear her.
Path that we were
They're talking about a rock, maybe.
Yeah. Came in with a lost voice. That's tough coming into a slam because you know you're going to be doing a lot of yelling.
Yeah. A little less
team.
for her. It would be worse if it was a skip.
Oh, for sure. Team powwow.
Yeah. If only we had the Swiss-German understanding, we'd be able to.
Well, part of what we do in the booth here, Chelsea, is we make it up.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, it's like a team rule we've decided on. It's either the guard or the hit, but the hit's not like it's not a very good situation if you make the hits. At best, it's a force. That's not good. Yeah, I think she's saying we're definitely not playing that because that's crazy.
Yeah, I like the guard. It's still fairly early in this end, and the angles aren't bad for you right now. As long as you guard that higher red rock, I don't think there's any way to kill the back one and stick the shooter without jamming. Like it just always jams. So just guard the higher red, and you're in pretty good shape.
And there's really no easier guard to throw. Like it's the guard you throw you've seen 100 times. It's just off the center line. I would say this is a harder shot, and I think it's a worse result.
I agree.
So for that reason, I'm out.
Playing Dragon's Den up here in strategy.
It's not a terrible call. I think Danielle's probably happy.
I think so too. which is
you
exactly
said.
why you wouldn't throw it if you're Silvana's team. It's also early. Like I don't mind this as much if it's say Silvana's last rock, but this is really early in the end to bring all the play into the house and open it up. It's probably a force because she can't blank this end, and I wonder if that's factoring into this choice. But it just still seems early to bring it all into the house to me when you had Team Inglis in some trouble.
Hit and roll on the wide one. Okay, I would have thought she would have just made the top double.
Yeah, me too.
The 2 biting the top 4, hit about a third of a stone and stay there, and then some kind of cleanup is required. This is where Danielle threw that hit and roll early. I think that was the second end, and kind of got the in-between. I think they're...
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. That's good. Sorry.
Pretty good result. Going to open up the 4-foot.
She maybe was trying to hit it a little thinner and set up the angle for the jam potentially, but yeah, not a bad result because both of these reds that are about to come down here probably won't stay very close to the 4-foot. So then you take away any kind of risk. I still don't see how you turn it into 2 points, but you probably don't take a lot of risk of giving up a steal at least. Quick look around at the other games here while we have a second. Over on sheet A, we have Gim and Kitazawa tied at 3. Hasselborg with a 4-1 lead over Team Constantini after a steal of 2 in the 5th end. And Team Kim 2-1 over Schwaller on sheet D right in front of us.
Curl right out of her hand. She didn't love it. Wants to hit it thin, but needs to make some noise. Oh yeah, that's fine, but this end should be over. Kira probably makes that double almost every time.
Unless you play a tap, I guess, is the only way that it doesn't turn into it. But I think at this point you're probably not getting more than 1, so you may as well make it an easy 1.
Yeah, I mean, they gave you your get out of jail free card, and I know you can't blank this end, but
yeah, but at least to not take, if you're going to be forced to 1 anyway, you may as well
Yeah,
play it
let's
like a
make it
blank and then
easy.
make an open hit rather than have
Yeah.
a bunch of rocks in the 4-foot and have to make a touch shot or a tough draw or something. So resigned, I think, to taking their single point here, so that if that's the case, you may as well make the single point as easy as you possibly can.
Yep. 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 Hard. Hard.
I
Hard.
think they lost it a little.
Roll it. Roll it. Roll it. Roll it. Roll it.
Don't want to roll it too far away.
Okay.
It's looking like Danielle's going to have an open shot on her last one, which is really all they were trying to accomplish.
Yeah, just it might mean she has to stick the hit a little bit more precisely than she otherwise would have, or risk giving up the steal, but should still be an open hit, I would think.
Ja. 11. Wow, zurückgehen. Wow. Achtung.
Silvana felt she was a little bit wide here too, but this spot curls, we know that. Doesn't want to hit and roll right beside it. So do they take on the double, or there's really no need. I mean, because you can't blank it, normally you'd play the double here to keep the blank alive.
Right.
Could freeze on the button.
Could freeze on the button, yeah. She initially talked about rolling under the corner, which is also an option. The problem is the corner is so long that I think there's a chase anyways. If this quarter guard was a bit tighter, I think that would be the call I would probably lean towards, and maybe you get a 2 out of it. But I think the only way you could try to set that up is with the freeze, but then again, you run the risk of putting yourself in a position of still being forced and having a really hard shot to make to get that single.
Close. Yep. Whoa. Yep. Whoa. Yep. 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 Hard. Hard. Hard.
Good shot there from Kira, and doesn't really matter all that much if that stays, but
No, I don't think it really changes much other than, I guess, if you rolled out, not only would you give up the hammer, but you'd give up a steal, but that's about all it changes, I think.
vind dit schon ein bisschen viel. Nee. Ja.
So another hit and stay coming here. Danielle is just thinking, try and keep this close to the 4-foot, so I have a hit down the center line would be my guess.
Good.
And Team Tirinzoni, judging by the fact that they played that hit, are happy with forcing to 1.
Yeah, I think if they were looking for the steal, that conversation around maybe throwing a guard would have leaned more towards the guard and less towards bringing the play into the house. By doing that, as we said, just that early in the end, you're probably playing the force here, and the new rule probably was factoring into that too, because the blank turns into a force here for Team Tirinzoni, so you don't have to take as much risk to try to get your force.
Achtung, zeer. Whoa, nein, whoa. Zeer. Zeer. Zeer.
Probably just looking for the nose hit.
Good. That's fine.
Just like that. Danielle maybe try and hit and roll or make the double probably, but again, who really cares?
Do you like that? Normal with that should be close.
So she is trying the double, hit and roll broom side and clip the back one, and then, I mean, she's still gonna have to make her last shot.
Yeah, it doesn't change much other than if you were to roll out, it's slightly less devastating, I guess, but still would be pretty bad to give up that hammer.
I'm not sure it's worse. I'm not sure which is worse. So if you give up a steal, so you're down 2 with playing 7 or down 1 without playing 7. I would say down 1 without might be worse.
Yeah, I agree.
Close. Yep. Yep. Hard. Hard.
Calista Daly trying to hold this one so they do clip the double, just to take any doubt out, but maybe you'll get a mystery or a mystery jam here. Probably going to take a pick, but
yeah, I think that's probably the only way, but it is possible technically.
And you're still going to have tons of room if this just is a nose hit. You're going to have tons of room to hit and stay. Like you're going to have 4 or 5 feet either side to roll to.
Yeah, for sure. It's not much of a risk here for either team, really. It's just this is turning into the force.
If it rolls to a spot where it's kind of a tricky hit and stay or precise hit and stay, you get to draw the 8-foot. So
right. And Danielle's had great draw weight all day, so even if she had to do that, I like her chances.
welcome to Ontario. Jackpot City Lounge open, serving booze. 9:36. Thanks, Doug Ford. Right?
They're trying to bring back old school curling. We were just talking about it.
He was worried about shift workers. Who am I to tell you when you're supposed to drink and when you're not? So now there's a bit of a decision.
Yeah.
Oh, she's going to hit it.
Yeah. Yeah, like a solid board. So then is this max? Yeah. No, I don't think so. It will come up.
She's going to hit here. Personal preference. I mean, it's kind of right on the edge. If that rolls another half rock, she probably definitely draws, but it doesn't really matter. Whatever you're going to make.
Yeah, to me the hit looks like maybe the little bit of the harder option, but fully just a preference on this one. It's whatever you feel better about throwing. Neither is a terribly difficult shot. She does have a lot of room to roll to on the inside here too, so as long as you're not missing this on the high side, you're probably reasonably safe.
Sounds pretty good.
They like it. Just a solid board, she was saying. And no mistake.
There's the double, right on time. So we got a single for Team Inglis, and we got a 2-2 tie. 2 ends to play. We'll be right back after this break for the last couple ends of action.
When it comes to the game we love, having the right gear makes all the difference.
Gold Line's new curling shoes and brooms are a game changer.
The shoes, unbelievably comfortable.
And the brooms, lightweight and effective, giving you control on every sweep.
When I step onto the ice, I'm not just prepared, I look sharp.
Have you seen these shoes? They are a game changer.
And the brooms, light as a feather.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
And is the choice of champions.
There's a place where the world's best curling not only lives, it rocks. Download the new Grand Slam of Curling app and live stream all the action. Get exclusive content, stats, merch, and more. Let's rock.
Welcome back to the WFG Masters. 4th stop on the Grand Slam of Curling. First Grand Slam of 2025. Halfway through the 2020s, eh, Chelsea? Where did the time go, as they say?
Blink and you miss it.
Right, and we've got tie game here, 2-2, in our feature game, Team Tirinzoni, Team Inglis. Team Inglis, lead Cassandra de Groot being asked for double centers. This one, the high one, they decided, wants a piece of that center line, so it can't be chipped. Success. And Team Tirinzoni, this is where it's super important at every end to get your lead stones, all stones in good spots, but in 7 and 8 in a tight game, especially when you know there's another guard coming, this one needs to be full 4-foot, dead buried, and then the next one needs to be right on top of it, lined up to make it as difficult as possible on Team Inglis.
Not a broom to this one. Needs
This
to
one's
sit.
cruising. Good thing it's better there than back 4-foot. It's in.
The Donnie B3 is on the board, on the table. But to your point, if it's one of those where it sounds like a silly thing to say, but if you're going to miss there, you want to miss by a lot. If that's back button, it's the worst possible thing that could happen. So often you'll see the team as it's coming in. That one was all there on its own, but you'll hear the skip say something like, take it all the way back, because you don't want to leave it. Just even splitting the T line's not great.
Sweep for 3.
So Cassandra needs to get this one on the same line.
Yeah, closest rock.
Right on the WFG logo.
Hard. Here, drop. I'm gonna take it.
Speed's good. Can they get a piece of the line?
Close. I don't know.
Not quite. No, but they're not playing the chip shot anyway, although I don't hate it.
I don't either, especially with your first one being back that far.
See if Selena can make the adjustment here and get this one top 4-foot. Sweepers look a little more interested in this one. That's a good sign.
Yeah, they're happier with this one for sure.
Kleine is goed, Platz. Karle, wenn's geht. Kleine is goed. Kleine, vorne 4. Schau jetzt.
This one looks real good.
And stay.
Yeah, that's perfect. Danielle going to ignore that one and go straight to the button. And then will Tirinzoni, will she switch to peeling, do you think, Chelsea? That's a tough double peel.
Yeah, it is a tough double peel. If she's back, if Danielle's shot on this, you might see her throw a draw, but it does also seem like a bit of a scary thing to do. I think probably a peel, most likely.
Okay, yep, hard then. Yeah, hard for weight in line. 3, 2.
This is not close.
Can you at least get it to center? Can you get it to here? Straight. Yep. We're not by it. Yep. Get by.
Get it off of it.
Get by. Yeah. Okay. 17-9.
They're going to peel now. You have to peel now. Simple double peel. You're still buried.
Yeah. Yeah, now I don't think there's much of a debate. If that was in the house, you might have seen them have a bit of a discussion around which direction they wanted to take, but with that rock coming up as light as it did and this double peel being as simple as it is, I think this is the only call.
Not ideal.
No, not ideal. That takes away that in-turn draw, which is probably based on where things are right now, not the draw you'd be throwing, but you'd like to have them both available to you.
So Kalissa's got to kind of forget that last one and regroup and make a good freeze here.
Okay. Just here, lots of line.
I wonder if this side had sat for a while. There's more than likely when you see a shot missed by that much on the speed, it's because of the release is a little bit soft and it gets curling early.
Yep, we're there. Cass.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things that sometimes maybe isn't clear to people at home, that you could kick with the exact right speed and not
1475.
throw the release the way you want to and have that completely change the speed. So I know often my teams would have had the conversation around, the sweepers would say, geez, I thought their weight was close on that. And I would say, well, I think it would have been if she got it running, which means that just that little bit more positive release. So on ice with this kind of curl, it's not just about kicking with the right speed. If you're a little bit soft on that release and it curls early, then that will drag all the weight off the rock too.
Carol's got this one real tight. Can Selena hold it? Doesn't want to tickle the top red. That would be bad.
That's close.
That's bad. That opens up the button. And now that yellow one staying there at least eliminates the back 12. So a chance now right to the button. There is a hit through the hole, but I think it just jams, so.
And I don't even think that if you make it, even if you didn't jam it, it doesn't really benefit you. You can't get low, and so I think have to draw here for Danielle. You could put this sort of almost right beside it, then it makes it really hard for Silvana. If you're a little deeper, she can maybe run her red onto it or something, but if you're right beside it, it puts some pressure on Team Tirinzoni.
Doesn't even really have to be shot here. Half open top eight's pretty good.
Where?
Not sure what they do with that.
Okay, yep, go then. Yep. Yeah, go for weight, yep. Cass. Cass, yep. Hard. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hard, Cass.
Still need to curl this.
Hard, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Go, 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 go. Keep it moving. Go, 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 go. 15-4.
That's a bit of a tricky spot. I mean, I actually probably should have left that a rock higher, but.
That's not terrible. Yeah, a little higher would have been better, but it was also, if you can ever drag it another foot, it's probably perfect. So a little bit in between, but at least makes Silvana think about this a little bit.
Tough chase, but I think that's what they have to take on. There is a double on the yellows. Most of the time, I think it hits the back red anyway.
Yeah, a lot of the time it would. You could probably make it without doing that, but I think it's hitting it more often than it's not hitting it.
Try and nose this with hack. There it is. I got something. Sure, that's what she said. Nosa, hack. I'm not a genius, but
seems like a reasonable thing to assume.
That's what I'm going to go with. So out turn hack waiter, trying to get to the nose. Got to get close to the guard here. Even if you chip the guard, it wouldn't be death. But anything too high here, like missing this wide, is going to be really bad. Chipping it into the yellow.
Yeah, tolerance is tight. If you chip the guard, you wouldn't be devastated about that. But
She
sweeping
didn't
this
miss
to
it
get it to
tight.
curl, it's close.
Going to jam on the yellow, I think. The yellow stays second shot, which is important for Team Inglis. And you hit that, or you try and slide through there with the draw looks pretty tough.
Yeah, I love that if you make it, but it's a much harder shot. So
Now you could play the hit through the hole. There is room to hit and roll a little low and lie to.
yeah, quiet through the hole. I don't mind that.
So Kira Brunton's final stone here. Third rocks in the seventh end.
Close. Clean. Clean, yep.
Like, I don't think you want to roll this buried.
No, but if you don't, then you're leaving a double.
I
So
know,
it's
I
like,
don't like
what's
this shot, actually.
Hard, Cass, get the red. Stay with the roll. Yep, 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 yep. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Not great, but not awful. Yeah, that would be the best shot. It's the hardest, but it's the best.
It's not super high risk because you're trying to set up a deuce here for Savannah, so no matter what you do to try to set up the deuce, you might leave them some sort of double and end up getting forced. But if you make the draw, it's no more risky than this chase, I don't think. And it's probably a better result.
Savannah just threw this is the only, basically the same shot she just threw. Just probably needs a little bit less weight. Yeah, more ice, a little less weight. Just enough to kill it. It kind of keeps the back red one alive, too. I don't hate a hit here.
That's true, yeah.
Back line. I think this is going to curl and might get to the nose, which wouldn't be very good. Going to allow Danielle to just follow it down. Freeze back 4-foot shot if this gets to the nose.
Just barely got it by the guard. Definitely getting all the way to the nose.
Don't think they'll be very happy with that.
Like a hair on the inside of
No, for sure not. Yeah. That's the risk that you ran with that, but it also was not easy to get to the nose. That shot was, that back rock is over buried, and she's still, but they just squeaked that long guard, and definitely would not have been the result that she was looking for, and a big, big opportunity here for Danielle Inglis.
Freeze to the back one, yeah.
Just because we needed more big curling news this week. Brienne was cleared.
Oh, wow.
She's been cleared to come to the ice, but I don't think there's a spot on her team for her.
Because Kira's, we clear the guard by like almost 3.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with that.
Just because there's no spot doesn't mean they can't kick somebody off.
Yeah.
I've heard.
I think we just
That certainly seems to be the way it's gone all year, so at this point, nothing would surprise me.
Okay, whoa then. Whoa.
So need this one to be shot. Really anywhere in there would be good, but right on the back one I think would be best. This is really curling. Got to get by the guard.
Yeah, they really got to go on this one.
Little feather and freeze.
Ah, shoot.
I don't think that's a big shoot.
Worked
That's
out not terrible.
pretty good.
Okay, that's fine. Good speed.
Yeah, what do they do with that? Come down and bump it on. Like, I don't think you can get rid of it and fly 3.
No.
On the nose.
He shot, but
Back 8.
yeah, yellow's probably stays second, but then maybe you have something on your last one. I don't know what else you do. I think you have to try it. At least get shot rock.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much the same line as the one that Savannah just threw, so they should know the spot and the speed and everything.
So very similar shot to what Savannah played. Probably not quite, she had about just back line, probably not quite that hard, but would love to move the back red. If you just bump it frozen, you're eliminating those 2 reds that are in there for sure. You bump it and move the back red, you might be able to score that side one.
Yeah, it gives you a chance to maybe eliminate this yellow on your next one, potentially, depending on the angle. So definitely would like to move that back red, I would think. At least a few inches, a rock or 2 even. Sweeping to curl now.
Looks really good. Might even clear the back one. Almost. Great shot there. Pretty much best she could do. The yellow one's open.
That's as good as she could have made that.
But if you're Team Inglis, you just threw this shot. This exact same thing. I mean, you don't want to be quite as tight to the guard. But you come down and bump that red. You could get shot here.
Yeah. Because you did touch that. Do we ever, like, if the line's ever good, do we ever?
You have to move it or they're going to get 2.
Only if the line's good.
Because the freeze on the back yellow is second shot.
Like, I mean, that's a little risky because you'd never want to take a chance to do that.
You have to move it quite far.
Yeah. Okay, let's just play for that. But I mean,
I think you have to try and throw the same shot.
Get shot out of it, right?
What do you think, Chelsea?
Only if. Playing the straight freeze, though.
If you straight freeze, I guess you're hoping that she misses the draw, which I don't love when it's Helena Petz throwing the rock, but that seems to be what they're doing. Like if you'd be a piece of the button, so you'd at least make it hard on her, but definitely moving this and being shot would be an incredible result. But Danielle a bit worried, which
we're just top 4
rightfully
this time.
so, worried about hitting it and rolling off too far and leaving a double for 4. Game over.
She's taking ice, and this is curling so much that I think the freeze a lot of times is going to get right to the nose and then just leave the draw to the backing for 2.
Yeah, which is not what you want. Like, you want this freeze to be on the high side if you're going to freeze it, and then that makes it that much more precise,
This is really tight.
Easy. Take a look.
No, this line is tight.
Hard, everything. Yep, hard. Hard.
If it gets by, she's got to
Hard. Go.
draw to backing for 2. Maybe it'll be heavy enough to move it. Not quite.
Got to get it there for second.
So
And she's okay.
Got second, but yeah. I think Danielle could have made that. She makes that shot a lot if she tries it. I get the concern, but
Yeah, I think
this is a pretty.
I guess what it comes down to is you might lose the game if you bounce off it, but are you losing? How often are you winning the game 2 down?
Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So that's just one of those ones where that's what you have to weigh out is, how many times do we win this game 2 down coming home versus, if we were able to turn that into a steal or a force there. So it is risky, but it's like keeping the game close doesn't matter once you get to the 8th end. It's losing by 1 is still a loss, right? So yeah, I'm not sure if that was the right call, but made fairly well, just over curled on them a little bit. The weight was perfect for the freeze.
So final stone, draw for 2, Team Tirinzoni. Alina knows she can go to the back one, so this is going to come down to a sweeping call. She's never going to miss this light. Yeah, she's good. I think Volta means don't fall on it. And 2 red. And a 2-point lead coming home. We'll be back to see if Team Inglis can come up with a big 3 or at least a 2 to take it to extra ends.
I've stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on, every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance,
Pushing limits.
Seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
It's a gold line.
it's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Final end action here coming up. Team Tirinzoni versus Team Inglis. Home province heroes down 2 with the hammer, seeing if they can come up with some magic. A 3 would win the game. 2 would at least take it to extra time, make us work a little bit of overtime. I don't think we get paid overtime, Michelle, so I don't know if that was in your contract, but it's not in mine.
I didn't see it in mine either.
Okay. But it's been a well-played game. As we said, the ice is, looks pretty perfect. Not being out there, it's impossible to tell for sure, but there's a lot of shots being made across the sheets, and we've got our first final. Leading the entire event so far is Team Kim in first place, 1-0. They beat Xenia Schwaller 5-1. Ran them out of rocks. Looks like they shook after 7. Team Hasselberg is up 1 with, playing the 7th end, 4-3 on Team Constantini, and Hasselberg has them in pretty big trouble with no real guards, so that's trouble for Team Constantini. And then Team Gim versus Team Kitazawa. Gim down 1, but has the hammer in the 7th end and has some action here.
Yeah, line's a little tight. Gotta go.
But in our game, we need Cassandra needs to get this guard in a good spot.
Okay, Celeste's rock then.
They're going double on one
Celeste, gotta bring
side.
it over. Yep.
I
Yep,
don't,
keep knifing it. Keep
don't
knifing
think you
it.
ever
keep
want
going,
this to
keep going,
curl
keep
over
going.
wider.
Yep. Okay, that's good.
That was probably
17,
more trying
Slow it
to
down.
slow it down a little bit. Yeah, the line on it was fine. It was just, it was kind of in between. You want that to be a little bit longer so you have more room for your second guard.
Step high enough.
Very nice.
Called for the second one in here, Chelsea, or just a tight guard?
I didn't see the call. I would imagine a tight guard, but looks like it might be in.
And they jumped on it right away like it was lighter than they wanted, but no, this is pretty good. Tight guard.
Trying to get it to finish over there. Really good spot.
Danielle going to call for the extra corner guard. Make sure they have places to hide. And then will Team Tirinzoni defend with double centers up 2, or will they whip another one around?
I think in theory, you'd throw a second center guard. The only reason I think they may not is because of how deep that red is. It's just a little bit deeper than you'd probably want for the double guard, but it is above the T line, so you for sure could see them throw a second center guard.
Curl up a hair. Okay. Okay. 17. Okay.
Yeah, because that double peels there in the corners, I think that makes this call a lot easier.
Agreed.
Das ist auch gut.
So Carol being asked to throw one in here, top 4 foot, really anything in front of that red one. Don't want to be beside the red one and create some kind of pocket. That would be not good.
This is a little heavy, so they're trying to curl it to control the angle of what's going to be a little tap here.
Okay, quick.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Yeah, the line got to the right place. If that would have been bad if it hit it on the high side and rolled off and left that rock back T-line, but because the shooter stayed right in front of it, it's not bad.
I think they need to do exactly what Carol just did. Come down and just move those around and keep your shooter in the rings. And
Time out. Yeah. Time.
time out. They want to talk to Kim Tuck's coming out. I think she's normally the 5th. I think she's coach / 5th this week. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. That's who they're going to talk to.
Either way, she's coming to the ice.
Yeah. Here's a good time to talk.
Both teams with lots of time.
Your hit and roll to the corner. My other thought was just playing a tap and starting to rearrange the rocks, because whatever we do with your rock, we need it to stick around.
So I think these rocks are more of a problem than that rock right now. Yeah. Because even if you make that roll, she's going to put another guard on it, and you're still in the same situation. Even if you roll this way, I don't mind playing something quieter in here and just trying to rearrange them. They don't have to go out. They just need to kind of get out of the court.
Yeah. Like a back 4.
Yeah.
Because as long as you rearranging, keep it right here.
Yeah.
To our favor, right?
Yeah.
I only have like a quarter.
Because and that's fine, because it does curl up nice here.
Yeah.
Like you're only throwing about here. Yeah. And if you can keep it here half buried, then if they try to chase it, then they're running it into there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think they found the right call here. This is a spot where Kira played that hack waiter and it got almost to the nose on a rock that was about this buried. So with back 4, back 8, you can definitely get to the nose and stay half buried on top of a red one, move the back button one back 8, and you got a good setup for a deuce.
Yeah, we just saw Carol make it with back 4, so you maybe want to pound more weight than that, but you don't need much. It's not about being shot or even second shot, frankly, right now. It's just about leaving your shooter in front of the reds and rearranging those angles a little bit so that you have something on your next one.
Top 8. Where? Top 8. Okay, go then.
No line.
Line's fine. If it's top. Whoa.
Uh-oh.
Cat.
Little miscommunication, misjudge there potentially.
Hard. Keep going. Keep going.
Heavier than they want, so now Kira on this, try to get it to curl. Let's try. Oh dear.
Slipped and burnt it. Well, and that's a good shot too.
Yeah. You're okay?
Oh, Sylvana, you're too nice. That needs to come off. Such a stupid rule, but good for Kira for calling herself out. I don't think anybody would have noticed. I didn't see it or hear it.
Yeah, I didn't either, and it did end up being a perfect shot. So Sylvana well within her rights there. The problem with that is it sounds like a good thing that the non-offending team gets to choose, but it puts just the players in such an awkward position by leaving an option. It would be much easier if the rule was black or white.
Yeah, don't touch the rocks with your broom. and then you don't have a problem. I mean, it's going to happen. And then when you do, it's, I screwed up. It's just like when I screw up throwing a rock, I don't get to redo it. I don't get to say, hey, I didn't mean to throw it that hard. Do you mind if I...
Yeah, just let me try it one more time.
Yeah. Are we still doing mulligans out here? This needs to get by the guard. Rückspiel means good try.
We're slowly going to put together a Swiss German dictionary here. Yeah.
I don't even know what I would start with to write that down, though. We got some hot spots here if you want. It's a little chilly up high here.
It is a little chilly, yeah.
Yep.
Guelph, where are you? There's 150 people here, but we need like 1,500. Heat this place up. This is a bit snowy and cold out today, so we'll see. But now a chance here. I think trying to bump this into the pocket, or are they bumping it and rolling low?
Not sure.
I think you want to bump this into the pocket.
I would think so too. I'm not sure rolling low helps you very much.
They're not trying to do that. They're trying to draw straight to the back one.
Yeah, maybe through the hole, which would be a great result.
Hard. Keep going, right back. Okay, that's fine. 15-2.
It's a little bit light. Now that's going to leave. You could, the double's there if you wanted to take it on, I think.
It's really tight to the red.
It's tight. Yeah, you'd have to play it quiet, but...
I think that's probably like the hack weight, or solid hack, and once you have a piece, carve it over, and even if you ticked and didn't kill the top one and you killed the buried one.
Yeah, would be still a pretty good result, but they're looking at maybe just a hit and roll.
Yeah, I didn't catch that part.
That's too advanced for our Swiss German skills.
Slow down.
Also ich bin mit dem Hittenroll einverstanden, aber ich werde einfach nicht zu viel eingeben. Achtung! Whoa!
Sweeping it right out of Savannah's hand.
Whoa!
Yes, whoa is usually a good sign. Ooh, this is thick, though. It's a lot of weight for that shot, and just kind of swept it very, what I would say, defensively, which can't really blame him, but not a bad situation.
That does leave some options here for Danielle.
She can't leave that red one there, I don't think.
No, yeah, my first thought was like,
She just rips it.
yeah, if you come down with the out turn, it's just that.
Just like a backline tap.
And get to the nose on the out turn.
Backline.
Yeah, it would be not bad, but this top red rock, to your point, is the rock that's going to cause you problems. So I think you probably need to make a play on that.
Great if you could bump it on the nose and chip that button one behind your other yellow.
Oh yeah, would that ever be good?
Clean. Yep. Clean. Yep. Hard. Yep. Whoa. Yep. Whoa.
This looks pretty good.
Whoa. Little roll.
Gonna get low, actually.
Yep. That's great. Nice shot.
Sweep that red one. That's a great shot. Almost going to force her to play the run back.
Yeah, life's a little scary here now all of a sudden for Silvana.
That run back looks pretty juicy, though.
It does. It's pretty queued up, but if you ever double jam it or something, like you could switch gears to a steal here, but that's also scary.
I'm going to be shocked if they don't play this run back.
I think that's the call.
Sebastian Stock, coach of Team Tirinzoni. I think that's who's under that hat.
Nein. Ich glaube, es ist schade, ja. Gut.
Ich finde es gut, ja.
Also ich komme es 8 ist mir fast, oder? 7,5, 8.
What else do you even play? I guess you play the intern draw, just past top 8 one.
Yeah, I think that's, if you were going to switch gears, I think that's what you have to throw, but there's not really a great spot to put it. I guess if you perfect froze on the corner of the yellow, then they couldn't at least kill the back one in one shot, but you still put yourself in, there's still danger.
I think this is the only shot. It's like a 5-foot run back. I mean, you're going to kill a yellow one almost every time you throw this, I think.
Yeah, and as long as you kill one of them, you're in. It makes a big difference. So I do think this is the right call. It's just you were hoping to not have to throw something as high pressure as this.
It's late too, right? Like,
yeah.
Sylvana's last rock here, so if she ever, I think the only way to kind of not kill one is float it and kind of hit half a rock high or something. That tends to be the miss when you throw it hard, especially in the out turn for most players. This looks pretty good.
Sure does.
Almost perfect. I think
was
yellow's second.
I think they are too, and that makes a big difference right now.
But doesn't really, I guess they could throw that out turn freeze.
Yeah,
but
that's what I was just looking at. Yeah, you can nose it as long as you get like just a thin and go under. Normal? Yeah, do you like control ever? Sorry? Do you like a down normal? Like it? Yeah, 10? I don't mind that. Yeah. 10? Let's throw that.
just got to hit it in the perfect spot. So whatever weight's easiest for that. I think with 10, even if you hit it in the wrong spot, I don't think you can have it come over and kill your yellow. So that might be a good call from Kira.
Yeah, that's why I like a little bit less, because that's the only thing you can't do here. As long as you stick your shooter and don't kill that yellow, I think you're pretty happy.
Can't hit this center guard either.
Oh boy.
Hard!
It's by.
Okay.
Ooh, that red one's going to be hard to get out.
Yeah, that's the problem, is you sort of hooked that a little bit, so now you can't really use it to kill that back red.
So a hit to lie 2 here for Team Tirinzoni. They've got 2.5 minutes, which is a ton of time with thinking time. 2 shots to come, and Team Inglis playing at a good clip. 6 minutes, 20 seconds left.
Blanked first end looks smart when you look at the clocks, that's for sure. At least bank some time early on. Maybe that was the plan the whole time.
Maybe you lose 1.5 minutes every time you blank.
I like that.
Blank as much as you want, but you lose 1.5 minutes.
The exact opposite effect of why people normally would play a blank. That would probably work, actually. Wouldn't see a lot of blanks if that was the case.
Just trying to nose this. Even if you hit and roll inside, I don't think it matters. There's not going to be a double. You got to lie 2. That's perfect. Super. I know that one too. So how do we make a deuce out of nothing here? Out turn through the hole. I think you could move that red enough to at least bump it in the open.
Yeah, these shot rock.
That's a mixed double shot. It looks, they don't almost never play it in 4-player, but those aren't lined up right, so we don't need to look at those.
Yep, that could be there.
Really? I guess there's some separation, but that's a hope and a prayer.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. Not a great angle.
A little bit, yeah, exactly. Even if it hits it like even higher in there. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind that. Yeah. Like something, because even if you squared that yellow rock more over to where the red one is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not just straight jamming it.
What turn's better for this?
I'm thinking this turn. We've thrown it too, so I know what it is.
So you want to hit it almost nose hair?
I can't tell how far apart those are, Chelsea, but I don't.
More like 3/4 to 2/3.
Like maybe 4 or 5 inches. I'd.
Okay.
Play for 3/4.
Yeah. Solid for him.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
I think
3/4. This doesn't go anywhere near that red one.
I think it's quite thin if you're going to play this. Like I would be looking to hit more like thin half, maybe a third.
Yeah.
To try to get that.
That's a lot of weight because you're not going
cut.
to hit much of the second one.
No, but I think that's the only way you get the angle right.
I don't think you can ever make that second yellow hit the tight red guard.
It's going into
and to get on the right line, it has to get awfully close to it. So that tells me you got to hit that second one pretty thin.
Yeah, I think it looks quite thin from here, and it could just be, in theory they can see it better than we can down there, but
yeah,
from here it looks really thin.
What else could they play? They could split the top yellow one and
Yeah,
hope
that
for
was
a
my
double.
first thought is play a split and try not to leave a double and sit second and third.
You draw in for second shot, top four half open. They would have to guard it. And then you hope for a run back triple or something or complete miss. Well, let's hope she proves us wrong.
Yeah.
It just wasn't lined up right. She hit that even thinner than she wanted to.
Yeah, quite a bit thinner than she wanted to.
So close.
I don't even know why you're shooting here. Well, quite honestly,
Wir können eine durchspielen, Alina.
they don't have a shot, Alina.
Jetzt können wir eine durchspielen.
Yeah, why are you shooting?
Yeah, if you don't throw, I think
Yeah,
the game's
throw it
over.
away. Sorry, I
Jetzt hast du ja
misheard
wirklich
her.
gar nichts.
He has no shot.
Sie hat
But-
nichts.
Yeah.
No, all you're going to do by putting this into play anywhere is maybe set something up.
Well, yeah, I
There's
don't know.
nothing right now, so.
If it picked and you somehow nosed that yellow into shot
Well,
rock or
exactly,
something.
exactly. So why take the risk? This is that was for sure the
That's
right call.
handshakes. And we've got our first final on the commentating stream here. We've got a big victory for Team Tirinzoni. Well played game by both teams. Team Inglis goes to 0-1 and Team Tirinzoni goes to 1-0. I'll be back with you in no time. I think in an hour and 15 minutes, and we will have the men's action. I don't even know who's in charge of putting the schedule together, Chelsea. I believe we have Team Jacobs versus Team Epping. And I believe I am right. So thanks for tuning in. I'm for Chelsea Carey and Brent Lang and Home Team Live and the Grand Slam of Curling. We will see you in an hour and 15 minutes for some men's action. See you then.